Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. All people. Soul Puppet Master. God-level talent at the beginning. Chapter 1. Blue Star, Huasha Kingdom, Donghai Province, Linhai City. On the playground of Linhai No. 1 Middle School, thousands of students are lining up to enter the career transfer formation one by one. Lu Na, profession, doctor. Shi Lei, occupation, farmer. Lu Xiaofei, occupation, soldier. Along with the 3 job transfer formations, colorful halos flashed. The students who have stepped out of the full-time formation finally completed the coming-of-age ceremony. Yibi looked at the long line, focusing on the job transfer formation at the front. There is a little bit of anticipation in my heart. After traveling to this world for several years, I finally made it to the transfer ceremony. When this game comes to reality, human beings have entered the era of job change for all. Only by becoming a professional can one have the right to survive. Being able to become a combat professional is a prerequisite for the world's top class. Although auxiliary occupations and life occupations also have a place, it is difficult to climb to the top of the food chain. After all, dungeons, secret realms, and abysses are dangerous places where only combat systems can survive. On the rostrum beside the 3 formations, the principals from 3 high schools in Linhai City chatted with each other. I heard that you have 2 very good seedlings in No. 1 Middle School this year. The bald principal of No. 2 Middle School said while holding tea. So. Actually, Lin Guodong was about to continue, but was interrupted by the vision of the job transfer formation. Blasts of cold air emanated from the formation, and the originally hot summer seemed to have entered the depths of winter in an instant. Leng Ruohan, a rare profession, elemental mage. Immediately, the recorder reported the names and occupations of the students in the vision formation. The bald head from No. 2 Middle School touched his big bald head and smiled. That's right, this girl Ruohan didn't disappoint me. She should have awakened her talent, ice type, but I don't know what level it is. The bald head waved to the slim girl who stepped down from the job transfer formation. Leng Ruohan greeted the other 2 principals and stood behind the bald head. What level of talent has been awakened? S rank, extremely cold. Very well, I did not disappoint the old man. The bald-headed mouth almost grinned to the corner of his eyes. A rare combat class with an S-level talent. It should be ranked among the top 10 in Donghai Province this year, right? The proportion of the combat department is low, and there are very few rare occupations. As for talents, they are all rare. Lin Guodong said that he was not envious, but it was a lie. At present, most of the full-time work has been carried out, but one of my own does not have a rare job, let alone a talent. Job-changing jobs are divided into common, full-time, rare, legendary, and hidden, and the first 4 have strengths and weaknesses. That is, full-time is better than common, rare is better than full-time, and legend is better than rare. Only concealment is special, it doesn't mean that it must be strong after awakening. This type of professional has always been a mystery, and some have become super strong. Some are destroying sentient beings. Yibi, I'm a little nervous. The boy in front of Yibi suddenly turned around and said. Yibi just took a look, and pushed him into the job transfer formation. Meng Fei, a full-time occupation, shield combat. Haha, Yibi, I'm not only a combat department, but also a full-time professional. Let me tell you that You're in the way. Yibi pulled him down, and then stepped into the job transfer formation. As the surrounding scene changes, Yibi is like being in a starry sky. Below is the land and sea, and countless human beings praying for blessings. As for himself, he was high above the ground, and he seemed to be stepping on a demon body with 2 horns on his head. Why is it dark? Outside of the full-time formation, the original sunny scene was replaced by an endless starry sky. Anomaly. I'm afraid this series will reach the legendary level. The bald head stared at the 3 job transfer formations, and it is still unclear whether it was caused by the formations of the 1st middle school, the 2nd middle school, or the 3rd middle school. Lin Guodong was also shocked by the scene in front of him, but fortunately he did not forget his own job. Immediately raised his hand and played a series of formations to reinforce and separate the 3 transfer formations. Lest something happen in a moment to cause a commotion. Rumble, thunder rolls, the earth trembles, as if the sky is angry. Amidst the thunder, it seemed that a broken puppet had fallen into the job transfer formation. The vision disappeared as the puppet submerged. It's a strong sense of oppression, the bald man said with his eyes narrowed. You must know that he is a level 60 holy knight. Those who can make him feel oppressed are at least 70 or 80 level bosses. Yi Bi, hide the only profession, soul puppeteer. In other words, there is only one soul puppet master in the whole Blue Star. As long as Yi Bi does not hang up, there will be no second place. Lin Guodong finally had a smile on his serious face. He immediately beckoned Yi Bi to his side. Yes, do you have the talent to awaken? Obviously the principal is more anxious than Yi Bi himself. Yi Bi nodded but didn't say what talent it was. Lin Guodong thought his talent was mediocre, so he was too embarrassed to speak up, so he smoothed things over and said. Hidden occupations are rare and unique, which means that there is no record in the current database. The talent must be quite special. Quote, Yi Bi nodded, and silently stood in the small team on the rostrum. The people gathered here are all professionals above the ordinary combat department. Only now did he have the time to look carefully at his attribute panel. Name, Yi Bi. Occupation, soul puppeteer, the only one. Level, 0.00%. Power, 10. Agility, 10. Spirit, 30. Physique, 10. Equipment, none. Puppet, 1/10. Soul skill, infuse soul level 1. Make the puppet have a soul. Unexpected changes will occur which can stimulate 500% of the puppet's potential. Talent, sharing SSS level, can share attributes and skills with puppets, switch positions. Puppet, Sky Wrath bronze level. Puppet level can be divided into bronze, silver, gold, diamond, legendary, god level. In terms of attributes, the spirit is higher than the other 3 items, and the positioning must be the legal system. As for the combat power and attributes of the puppet, it is obviously not suitable for display in this occasion. As time passed, the transfer ceremony finally came to an end. The 3 major high schools in Linhai only produced 9 outstanding students who could stand on the rostrum. There are 4 people in one school. Except for Yi Bi, a hidden professional, the other 3 are all job-changing professions. 1 battle, 1 method and 1 shepherd, a typical golden combination of combat method and animal husbandry. The number 2 high school had a lot of limelight, and the remaining 5 professionals were all from there, and the no. 3 high school came to play soy sauce for another year this year. Seeing that the students below had already stood up, Lin Guodong got up and said, from today onwards, you will be the hope of my China and the hope of mankind. Whether it's the normal combat department, the auxiliary department, or even the life department, they all strive to improve. Among the great figures who have gone out of Linhai, there are also some auxiliary geniuses. Even Shen Tian, who is known as the god of craftsmen, only became a blacksmith full-time at the beginning. Quote, as expected of the principal, just a few words reversed the mentality of those who failed in job transfer. That's right, God of Craftsmen was also a career in the life department back then, but he still stood on the God-conferred stage in the end. That's right, senior sister Lu Yuan, who graduated 3 years ago, won the Huasha Qianlong list with the strength of the number 1 support in the East China Sea, and she is expected to become a god this year. Seeing the emotions of Gaokang in the audience spreading, Lin Guodong nodded in satisfaction. Okay, in the next week, the students of the Department of Life can follow the instructor to continue learning. The auxiliary system and the combat system need to enter the rookie dungeon for actual combat. Your grade after the actual combat will determine whether you are eligible to take the national exam a week later. Quote, after all the students left one after another, the professional formation was dismantled. The cold bald head said with a smile, Old man Lin, there is no need to compete this year, right? No. 2 middle school beats your no. 1 middle school in terms of numbers and quality. Next year's transfer ceremony will be held in no. 2 middle school. Quote, you decide, if you compare the quality of the number of people. Then when the battle for resources, send the highest level directly, and more people will do. Why bother to enter the secret realm and fight to the death? Quote, Lin Guodong definitely couldn't agree, it's not just about the face of the relationship and the ranking of the school. It is more about the allocation of resources and the right to select seedlings. The cold bald head jokingly glanced at Yibi, who had been silent all this time. You don't expect a hidden career comeback, do you? Puppet masters do have many conferred gods. But it's not that there are no waste materials to transfer to the life department to make a living. Quote. The implication is obvious. It's not too late for us to say this in a week. Lin Guodong made a gesture of please. The 5 talented boys and girls in No. 2 middle school all looked at Yibi and others with hostility. What are you looking at? Is it possible that you have fallen in love with us? Meng Fei immediately said with a stare. Yibi is his deskmate, and he is really handsome. Apart from being somewhat withdrawn, overall, she is definitely a grass-level existence. Many people from No. 2 middle school clamored for a real fight. Only Lang Ruohan just looked at Yibi coldly, as if he had cast an invisible gauntlet. Okay, stop making trouble, and use all your energy in tomorrow's dungeon. The cold bald head secretly exchanged glances with Lin Guodong with a hint of a triumphant smile. Yibi felt helpless. These 2 old men were really well-intentioned. To use such a superficial routine to stimulate students' fighting spirit and competitiveness. But this group of people have been tricked, speechless. You guys have to work hard, don't be looked down upon by the number. 2 middle school. Lin Guodong led several people into the principal's office. Then it's time to distribute the rewards. Every year, outstanding job transfer candidates who can stand on the rostrum have a chance to enter the school warehouse. One last reminder, you can only get 1 reward, which can be equipment, weapons, or skill scrolls. After speaking, he opened the subspace warehouse in the principal's room. This kind of subspace warehouse is very similar to the portable space that one carries after a successful job change, but it is 1,000 times larger. Should I choose an oversized shield? Otherwise, what can I do to resist monsters? Meng Fei said while searching in the warehouse. I heard that the cost-effectiveness of choosing equipment and weapons is the lowest. As the level increases, our equipment and weapons will be updated soon. Said the mage and the team. Choose a skill book. The textbook doesn't say that different talents match different skills. Even in the same profession, would there be hundreds or even thousands of combinations? In addition to the level, the strength of the same profession is the coordination between talent and skills. Quote. The only priest in the team chose a recovery technique and exited the warehouse directly. With Meng Fei choosing the skill of shield bash and the mage choosing the ability to resist the aura, only Yibi was left standing there in the warehouse. With a wave of his hand, the Skywrath puppet appeared beside Yibi. The horned puppet in broken armor was a head taller than Yibi. Yibi, who was 1.8 meters tall, looked up at Skywrath, whose eyes were empty. Puppet. Wrath of the Sky, bronze level, 0.00%. Strength, 100. Dexterity, 100. Spirit, 100. Constitution, 300. Soul power, 1000. Halo, Legion of Heaven, summoner and puppet attribute and skill strength increased by 10 times. Active skill, natural disaster. Passive skill, absorb soul. Even though Yibi's emotions don't fluctuate much on weekdays, he couldn't help but be shocked by the powerful data when he saw the attributes and skills of the Skywrath puppet. According to the understanding of the puppet master, the attributes of the puppet will grow with the growth of the puppet master. Now that I am only level 1, I have a puppet with combat power comparable to more than a dozen levels, and the novice copy is still walking sideways. As for the item of soul, through sharing talent with the puppet, it is also understood that this is a consumption option for activating the puppet skill. It is equivalent to the cost of blue for a mage to fight. The natural disaster skill changes according to the level of the puppet. The effective range of bronze level natural disasters is a circular area with a diameter of about 100 meters. While getting familiar with the puppet, Yibi found that seeing the items in the warehouse from the perspective of the puppet is another scene. A wide variety of items are gray in the puppet's vision, except for a certain material in a corner that is purple and flashing with lightning. Bring it here. Yibi gave orders to the puppet. The puppet disappeared in a flash, and when it reappeared, it already had the black wood in its hand. Yibi looked at the wood carefully. It seemed to be a piece of lightning strike wood. There was nothing special about it. If it is a thunder mage, it may be useful. Skywrath puppet absorbs the power of the source thunder, evolves by 20%, and enhances attributes by 20%. Ha, It actually absorbed the power of lightning inside. Yibi put the wood back and activated the puppet again, and sure enough, the 4-dimensional attribute was enhanced by 20%. Golem. Wrath of the Sky, Bronze 20%. Strength. 120. Agility. 120. Spirit. 120. Physique. 360. I searched again with the puppet vision and confirmed that there was no similar energy body. Yibi chose a low-level skill scroll. This kind of scroll is different from the designated item skills of Meng Fei's 3 candidates. It can only be used by professionals below level 15. It will randomly learn a skill according to the profession of the job changer, and it is unique. That is, it can only be used once. I saw Yibi coming out with a scroll of low-level skills. Lin Guodong also felt helpless for a while. Obviously the school's warehouse did not have suitable skills for him. Most of the puppet masters' skills are on puppets, so most puppeteer masters will make friends with those who have life-related skills such as enchanting and forging. That's why people in No. 2 middle school look down on Yibi, a hidden professional. After all, there are not many strong puppet masters, and they belong to the late-stage profession that burns money. It is difficult for an orphan like Yibi who has no resources to become a puppet master. Go back and have a good rest. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, the newcomer dungeons will gather in the north of the city. On the way out of the school, Meng Fei pulled Yibi and said, "Come and form a team with us tomorrow. I heard that the early stage of the puppet master is very difficult." Meng Fei, what do you mean? We agreed to form a team of 3, and if you bring a free experience, can we compare with people from No. 2 middle school? The mage in the team was the first to question. He and Meng Fei Yibi are not in the same class, and they rarely interact with each other. If it weren't for the fact that Meng Fei can resist more monsters in shield battles, he wouldn't be bothered to form a team. I'm an MT, can you output so comfortably without me? What's wrong with bringing my brother? Everyone stop arguing, many students are watching. The pastor's sister said weakly. I don't need to form a team. Yibi glanced at the mage and priest, then nodded to Meng Fei and walked away. When I got home, I made a bowl of noodles and ate. Looking at the photos on the table, Yibi wiped the surface lightly. His parents were both professionals. When he was 10 years old, he died in a secret mission. Boom boom boom. The knock on the door brought him back from memory to reality. Principal Lin, why are you here? It was Lin Guodong who came here, and since Yibi's parents left, he has been regularly sending state subsidies to Yibi. Today is the last time he came to give money to Yibi. After all, the country stipulates that professionals should die for the country. The state will raise its children until they become professionals. In this world where monsters are rampant, no country or force can support idlers. After becoming a professional, you have the ability to survive alone. This is 50 gold coins for this month's pension, and here is the 200 gold coins I personally sponsored you. Puppeteer is a money-burning profession and wants to rise quickly. You can either be admitted to Daxia Theological Seminary, or join a powerful guild. Daxia Theological Seminary is the highest institution for Chinese professionals. China's 5 Great Wars Shendu graduated there. So I hope you can get into it. As for the guilds, when you graduate from seminary, there will be a line of unions coming to your door. Therefore, the puppet master's weak period in the early stage can be passed smoothly by relying on the seminary. Quote, "Thank you, Principal Lin." Although Yibi was indifferent, he was more mature than his peers. He can tell who is sincere to him. Rest well, I won't bother you. Lin Guodong put down the fruits and other things he brought with the gold coins and left in a hurry. Watching Lin Xiao leave, Yibi slowly took out the skill scroll and infiltrated the spiritual power into it. Learn a new skill. Burning Soul, Level 1, detonate the soul to cause damage to the enemy. If the enemy dies directly, it will cause range damage. This is a skill that both monomer and group coexist. If the Burning Soul is not enough to kill the opponent, it will cause soul body damage that ignores defense. Very effective against living enemies. As for the group, let alone, although the range of damage depends on the skill level. But with the blessing of the Legion of Heaven, the range and damage of level 1 become level 10. Yibi is looking forward to tomorrow's dungeon more and more. Having nothing to say all night, Yibi trotted all the way to the dungeon gathering place in the north of the city the next morning. just happened to meet the Lang family's convoy. Lang Ruahan, dressed in plain white mage robes, walked out slowly, followed by a group of rookies from the Lang family. You don't need to ask to know that it is to cheer for Lang Ruahan. There are still 10 minutes and 7 o'clock, and many professionals start to find people to form teams. After all, it is very difficult for a newcomer to single job a dungeon. Even if the novice dungeon has been weakened by half, it is not something that ordinary professionals can handle alone. Previous blood experience tells us that although single brushing has a lot of experience, it is also highly dangerous. And once the dungeon enters and then comes out, it is a CD, and the novice dungeon is a CD every 12 hours. Meng Fei looked at Yi Bi, and saw him standing alone in front of the copy door, not intending to form a team. I don't know if it was because of yesterday or if I had other plans. Lang Ruahan and another punishment knight from No. 2 High School were also not planning to form a team. Although he is a job-changing professional, disciplinary cavalry can increase resistance and output, and it is recognized as one of the most suitable occupations for solo brushing in the early stage. Over time, replica delivery is turned on. A vortex like a gate appeared in front of everyone. I won't say too much. Although the monsters in the novice dungeon have been weakened, there are still deaths every year. I hope everyone will do what they can. There is still a long way to go. After Lin Guodong finished speaking, he waved his hand, and various teams entered the portal one after another. Yi Bi felt a flash in front of his eyes, and the scene changed accordingly. Behind him is the portal, and in front of him is a piece of city ruins that can't be seen at a glance. The Skyfury puppet was summoned, and immediately a zombie crawled out of the ruins. With a scouting eye, a general skill after job transfer, anyone can. The zombie's attributes immediately appeared on the panel in front of him. Level 1 zombie, normal. Strength, 5. Dexterity, 1. Spirit, 1. Constitution, 10. It really is a weakened monster. Kill it. Yi Bi gave orders to the puppet. The puppet just raised its foot and landed, and the zombie just snapped. Successfully kill zombies, experience plus 10. Looking at the experience bar, one zombie can increase the progress by 2%, so that 50 can be upgraded to level 2. As the first zombie is killed, more zombies appear in the ruins. These guys don't move fast, obviously for newcomers to practice. Yi Bi tried the soul skill again, burning soul. Immediately, the target zombie exploded, and the surrounding zombies were also smashed into the sky. Successfully kill zombies, experience plus 10. Successfully kill zombies, experience plus 10. Here are more than a dozen experience tips for swiping the screen. Burning Soul Level 1 consumes 10 soul power at a time. It is simply an artifact of group brushing. Successfully kill zombies, experience plus 10. Successfully kill zombies, experience plus 10. While Yi Bi was experimenting with his skills, the puppet had already killed more than a dozen zombies. Watching more and more zombies appear in the distance, and a larger one appeared. Yi Bi immediately let the puppet rush to the zombie. Level 3 zombie enhanced. Strength, 15. Speed, 5. Spirit, 1. Constitution, 80. Skill, bite causes bleeding effect on the target. It's still a small boss. It's a pity that the monsters in the novice book only have experience and do not explode items. When I was lucky enough to get close to the position of about 10 meters with this little boss. Skill, natural disaster. With Yi Bi's order, day turned to night, and the earth began to tremble. Sections of dead bones crawled out of the ground. The nearby zombies were pulled into the ground before they could react. Successfully kill zombies, experience plus 10. Successfully kill zombies, experience plus 20. Successfully kill zombies, experience plus 100. In addition to the small boss, there are also a few slightly larger level 2 zombies. With a flash of white light, Yi Bi has been upgraded. Name, Yi Bi. Occupation, Soul Puppeteer, the only one. Level, 2, 1.00%. Strength, 20. Agility, 20. Spirit, 60. Physique, 20. Equipment, none. Puppet, 11/20. Soul Skill, Infuse Soul Level 1. Make the puppet have a soul. Unexpected changes will occur which can stimulate 500% of the puppet's potential. Burning Soul Level 1. Detonate the soul power to cause damage to the enemy. If the enemy dies directly, it will cause range damage. Talent. Sharing SSS level, can share attributes and skills with puppets, switch positions. Puppet. Sky Wrath Bronze level. Puppet level can be divided into bronze, silver, gold, diamond, legendary, god level. As expected, each attribute has been increased proportionally. Check the properties of the puppet again. Puppet. Wrath of the Sky, bronze level 20%. Strength, 240. Agility, 240. Spirit, 240. Constitution, 720. Soul power, 502,000. Halo, Legion of Heaven, summoner and puppet attribute and skill strength increased by 10 times. Active skill, natural disaster. Passive skill, absorb soul power. Puppet, Calamity Skeleton, strength, 40. Dexterity, 20. Spirit, 20. Constitution, 40. 50 souls and 1 summoning object, is the natural disaster a summoning of undead creatures. As the zombies fell one by one, the soul power of the Skyfree puppet was slowly recovering. Obviously these zombies can also provide soul power. After taking a closer look at these natural disaster skeletons, they only have this panel after being blessed by the halo. It's a bit shabby. Basically tried all the skills that should be tried, except for one infusion. Because of skill description, unexpected changes will occur. This prevents Yibi from using Sky Wrath immediately, in case it is a bad change. So I have been holding back until now before I am ready to try. Ensoul. A faint purple light flashed inside the skull of the natural disaster skull. Suddenly the skeleton turned into a warrior in armor. Although it is still the core of the skeleton, it seems to have a soul. The Calamity skeleton has evolved into a Skywrath warrior because it has a soul. Puppet. Skywrath warrior. Strength, 200. Dexterity, 100. Spirit, 100. Constitution, 200. Skill, Furious Slash, 200% base damage. 100 soul power is an infuse, but the improvement is considerable. And the Skywrath warrior can bring out the copy and enter the puppet space unique to the puppeteer. Looking at the tide of zombies and the huge mutant beasts in the depths, Yibi's mouth suddenly showed a slight curvature. The Skywrath warrior stabbed a child. Either level 3 or 4. As the soul power of the Skywrath puppet increased, more and more Skywrath fighters joined the battle. In just 2 hours, all the monsters in the first half of the dungeon had been turned into experience points and soul power. Yibi's level has also soared from level 2 to level 5. Killing monsters of the same level can only increase the experience bar by 0.5%. Obviously, upgrading from level 5 to level 6 is a small watershed. However, Yibi's explosive soldiers who support wars by fighting do not have this concern. According to the records in the book, monsters at levels 1 to 5 in the novice dungeon are weakened by 80%. Level 5 to 10 monsters are weakened by 50%. Level 10 to 15 monsters are weakened by 25%. The final boss is a level 16 unweakened monster. That is to say, it has the same attributes as the level 16 monsters outside the city. After finishing the zombie area, Yibi rushed into the 6 to 10 mutant beast area with more than 20 Skywrath fighters. The situation of others getting bigger and slower is just the opposite for him. High-level monsters provide quicker recovery of soul power, and more Skywrath fighters after soul infusing. In the end, the Skywrath puppets didn't even need to make a move, and these Skywrath fighters rarely fought. The students in the dungeon are trying to kill for the level. Outside the dungeon, Lin Guodong and Lang Guangtu were sitting together drinking tea and kowtow melon seeds and chatting. How many people do you think will be admitted to Daxia Theological Seminary this year? Our family, Ruizu, must enter the seminary. She has sworn in the family ancestral hall that she must enter the seminary, otherwise. The cold bald head stopped in time, took a sip of tea and stopped talking. Lin Guodong glanced at him, snorted and said, "You were such a stinking problem when you were in school, and your words were so tantalizing." Lang Yun touched his big bald head and sighed, "There are family rules. You don't know what's going on in my house. Ruahan is 18 years old this year. If he can't enter the seminary, he will consider entering a trade union and getting married. With Ruizu's character, if you appoint her a marriage, I'm afraid you will be disappointed. Although Lang Ruizu is not from No. 1 middle school, Lin Guodong often goes to Lang's house as a guest, so he naturally understands Lang Ruizu's character. If it's really urgent, this kid dares to gamble with his life. She is not only cruel to others, but also cruel to herself. I don't know if there will be a child who reaches level 10 on the first day this year. It seems that it hasn't appeared in a few years, right? It's been 3 years. Last time, it was Lu Yuan's team that was level 10 on the first day. Now she is a member of the Qianlong list. It is said that she is expected to become a god. Lang Yun looked at the dungeon gate in front of him, and said thoughtfully. It's not easy to confer gods, you and I are both at this age, so it's not that we can't meet the requirements. Lin Guodong also sighed for a while. If you want to become a god, you don't just need to have a rank. Military merit, combat power, and ranking in the competition are all indispensable. The most difficult thing is the conferred god test. This level is the stumbling block that stops 99% of the professions. Let's not talk about this. What does your Yibi think? If you can't get into the seminary, you can consider the trade union of our Lang family. As the second chair of the Lang family, Lang Yun still has this power. It depends on his own decision. Lin Guodong was really not sure whether Yibi could be admitted to Huasha Theological Seminary. After all, the profession of puppet master is very weak in the early stage, especially for a student like him who has no roots. If it was changed to Lang Ruahan, it might be another result. In short, level 10 on the first day is the threshold for entering Huasha Theological Seminary. Otherwise, you will not be able to leave the city on the second day, and you will be slow step by step. Lang Yun nodded. He agreed with Lin Guodong's point of view. I have already brought Ruahan the best equipment and supplies that she can equip so far. As long as she can allocate mental power reasonably, it is not difficult to rush to the level 10 to 15 area on the first day. And hunting half of the monsters can raise it to 10, which meets the minimum requirements for leaving the city. At this time, Lang Ruahan had just finished the 6 to 10 zone, so he had to stop for a little rest. The 10 to 15 area weakens only 25%, and the distance between individuals is very far, which is not suitable for mage group attacks. You can only kill one by one, or you can attack kites in groups when you encounter groups. She is very glad that she has awakened the extreme ice of S rank. It can increase the power of ice magic by 50%, and at the same time, there is a high probability of freezing the opponent for 3 seconds. The family has already given the Blizzard group attack skills worth tens of millions, and the ice cone technique worth millions. Only relying on these 2 ice attribute magic can clear most of the monsters in the dungeon. I must be number 1 in Linhai City, and I will be number 1 in Donghai Province in the big exam a week later. Yibi, you can't be my opponent, my goal is the champion of other cities. Quote. Thinking of this, Lang Ruahan stood up holding the ice wand, drank the recovery potion and continued to fight. At this moment, the Yibi she was talking about had already cleaned up the level 10 to 15 monsters and came to a lake. As long as you pass through this lake, the customs clearance exit of the copy will be in front of you. And the final boss of the novice book is in this lake. Yibi did not directly enter the range of the lake, but first glanced at his attribute panel. Name, Yibi. Occupation, Soul Puppeteer, the only one. Level, 13, 90%. Power, 130. Agility, 130. Spirit, 390. Physique, 130. Equipment, none. Puppet, 91/150ths. Soul skill, Infuse Soul level 1. Make the puppet have a soul. Unexpected changes will occur which can stimulate 500% of the puppet's potential. Burning Soul level 1. Detonate the soul to cause damage to the enemy. If the enemy dies directly, it will cause range damage. Talent, Sharing SSS level, can share attributes and skills with puppets, switch positions. Puppet, Sky Wrath Bronze level. Puppet level can be divided into bronze, silver, gold, diamond, legendary, god level. According to the attributes of the level 15 monsters observed by the scouting eye just now, it can be roughly judged that it is difficult for an ordinary fighter to kill alone. The attributes of level 15 monsters are roughly around 120. The enhanced attributes of the small boss can reach as many as 300. Apparently that area is reserved for team members. And if you form a team, you will be able to reach level 10 there. If you are lucky, you can awaken your talent once, and you can kill once. Fortunately, I was pushed all the way by the Skywrath Warrior. The attributes of this boss should not be stronger than the Skywrath Warrior. Puppet. Skywrath Warrior. Strength. 2400. Agility. 1300. Spirit. 1300. Constitution. 2400. Skill. Furious Slash. 200% base damage. Look at the attributes of Skywrath again. Puppet. Wrath of the Sky, Bronze level 20%. Power. 3120. Agility. 3120. Spirit. 3120. Constitution. 9360. Soul Power. 1613 thousandths. Halo. Legion of Heaven, Summoner and Puppet attribute and skill strength increased by 10 times. Active skill. Natural Disaster. Passive skill. Absorb Soul. For safety's sake, Yibi didn't use all his soul power to infuse. First send a Skywrath Warrior into the range of the lake. In an instant, an ice arrow shot out from the lake. Because no instructions were given to the puppet, the ice arrow hit the puppet. Attack. Although the order was issued, the puppet did not move on the spot. Yibi took a closer look and realized that it was frozen in place. Interesting. In order to find out the details of this boss, it is also to enrich combat experience. Yibi didn't let the other puppets swarm. Follow the Pathfinder puppet into the lake. More and more frostbolts appeared. A murloc holding a trident appeared in the lake. With a height of more than 3 meters, the scales on his body looked particularly pervasive. The sticky saliva in the mouth is like sulfuric acid, and white smoke rises after dripping. Level 16 Mermaid Monster Elite. Strength. 500. Speed. 1000. Spirit. 1800. Constitution. 1000. Skill. Frostbolt. Freezes the target for 2 to 5 seconds, and the freezing time is determined by the resistance. Strong Acid Spray. Sprays strong acid in a fan shape to the facing area, causing range damage. Passive. Attributes in water area plus 50%, skill damage plus 50%. Note: the novice dungeon setting boss cannot leave the lake, but attacks outside the lake will also be immune. Sure enough, the teacher said that the novice dungeon does not need to be cleared. Looking at the attributes, I am afraid that no one can clear the level. Forget it, don't play anymore. The main thing is to clear the customs as soon as possible and go outside the city to upgrade. 10 Skywrath warriors were sent to attack the murlocs from different directions. In the end, he slashed wildly and knocked the murloc over to its lair. And 3 of the Skywrath fighters also entered a state of being unable to fight. With a flash of white light, Yibi has just reached level 14. He looked back at the corpse of the mermaid that was about to turn into soul power. Yibi knows that it is impossible to judge the strength of a battle just by looking at the attribute panel. His own Skyfury warrior completely crushed the opponent's attributes, but he was constantly being controlled and attacked by groups. In the end, the 3 fighters had to enter the puppet space to repair, and half of them became half-blooded. After a brief replay of the battle, Yibi stepped out of the vortex of clearing the dungeon one step at a time. Seeing the door flickering outside the dungeon, Ling Guodong, Leng Yun and others all looked over. Because there were 3 teams teleported out in advance before, it is really impossible to fight, and if they fight again, they will lose their lives. Yibi. Why even you? Hey. Lin Guodong regretted for a while. Obviously only 7 hours had passed, and now a CD is basically wasted when it comes out. Come out after the fight, why can't you come out and wait? Yibi was also a little confused, why didn't he come out after the fight? Finished? Lin Guodong asked with wide-eyed eyes, and then shot out with a scouting eye. Yibi level 14, have you cleared the level with full experience? Leng Yun on the side swears, and sprays a mouthful of tea all over the floor. It's impossible, absolutely impossible. How could it be possible for someone to clear the level with a single swiping experience on the first day? There has been no such record since the establishment of the school. Quote. Leng Yun is not calm anymore. I have prepared so many resources for my granddaughter, but she hasn't come out yet. You, a poor boy, came out first. Yibi didn't care about Lang Yun's surprise, and went straight to Lin Guodong and said, I want to apply to leave the city. Come on, I'll take you to apply for a city pass right now. Lin Guodong never expected this to happen. So he was not well prepared, but this did not affect him personally taking someone to apply for a city exit permit. Wait, I'll go too. Lang Yun handed over the work at hand to his family members, and then followed Lin Guodong and Yibi to the north gate. Baldhead, why are you following us? Lin Guodong asked knowingly. Lang Yun laughed, took out a card from somewhere, handed it to Yibi and said, how is it? Are you interested in joining our Lang family's union? Seeing that Yibi didn't pick up the card, she said mysteriously, that girl Ruohan doesn't have a boyfriend yet. You two are in the same class, and you are both talented and beautiful. I like you. Yibi has an image of coldness and aloofness in his mind. If this kind of girl is pushed down, she will indeed have a double sense of accomplishment. But now is obviously not the time to talk about the relationship between children. Seeing that the other party still didn't answer, he had no choice but to wink at Lin Guodong. Lin Guodong knew that if Yibi had to join the labor union in Linhai, the Bihai labor union of the Lang family would definitely be the first choice. Bihai is not only one of the 3 major labor unions in Linhai, but also a professional association member union in Donghai. There is nothing to say about the ascending channel, and the relationship between himself and Lang Yun is here, so it is guaranteed that he will not be wronged. I'm going to be admitted to Huasha Theological Seminary. Yibi said in a flat tone. Lang Yun knew that with Yibi's talent, Huasha Theological Seminary shouldn't be a big problem. Finally, he put the card into Yibi's hand and said, then you can think about it after graduation, and I hope you can help our family Ruohan within your ability. Yibi didn't expect him to make such a request. With Lang Ruohan's character, he definitely wouldn't need help. I only have more than 200 gold in my hand, which is obviously not enough for the future upgrade path. It is not impossible to form a good relationship. Lin Guodong on the side also persuaded. Take it, although I don't know what is special about the Soul Puppet Master, but the more powerful the ability, the more expensive it will be in the future. Then thank you Principal Lang. Yibi put the card in the portable space, which is a promise to help Lang Ruohan. Watching Lang Yun return to the novice dungeon, Lin Guodong said to Yibi. You must have known about the world after leaving the city in textbooks, but experiencing it yourself is another matter. There are Chinese rules in the city, but the law of the jungle is followed outside the city, a place where the weak eat the strong. Quote. Yibi nodded slowly, he was very sure of this. So as strong as Lang Yun can only let you help Lang Ruohan if conditions permit, because of the big exam, the Lang family can't send people to follow the candidates. The procedures for going out of the city are very simple. As long as the school or trade union has a recommendation letter and the level reaches level 10, you can go out of the city. The soldiers guarding the city looked at Yibi, and said, after leaving the city for the first time, you can enter and leave the city at will. As long as you are not a wanted job changer, you can enter this portal at any time. Yibi nodded, and walked towards the rows of teleportation circles beside the city wall. The foreground has changed, and it has changed from a tall city wall circle to a fortification outside the city. Different from the defenders in the city, the fighters here are all above level 30, and each of them exudes evil spirits. Go, be sure to return here in 6 days. Lin Guodong stood on the tall fortifications and watched Yibi enter the endless forest. Yibi who entered the forest immediately summoned the Golem of Wrath and distribute the Skywrath fighters in the space around. According to the distribution of the Skywrath fighters, he can construct a map of the surroundings in his mind. This is the ability from the Skywrath puppet. It seems that these Skywrath fighters are under its supervision. And he himself is the king of the Skywrath clan. Kill a level 12 jungle leopard, experience plus 100, get animal bones plus 1. Kill a level 11 brown bear, experience plus 90, get animal bone plus 1. Kill. A series of kill prompts began to refresh the screen again. Looking at the progress increase of 10.00 in the experience bar, Yibi felt that this was not the way to go. Most of the field is used for collecting materials by people in the auxiliary department or the life department. If you want to upgrade quickly, you must go to a dungeon or secret realm. The closest dungeon in Linhai City is the Dead Mine 15 kilometers outside the city. The same secret realm is also in one place, but it is called the Abyss of Death. There are 2 levels of difficulty in the dungeon, normal and nightmare, but there are 3 levels of difficulty in the rift, normal, nightmare, and hell. While the risk factor increases, the rewards are naturally more generous. Along the way, Yibi met many life-related professionals and mercenaries. In order to cause unnecessary trouble, he always took a detour. Finally arrived at the place that looked like a tianqing at very dark. There are many temporary grocery stalls around, selling mostly consumed medicines and consumables. There are many crystal pillars around the tianqing, which are the products of the professional association. Every professional can buy or consign things here, and can also receive and send tasks. You can even register team information. Yibi had only seen these things in textbooks, so he stretched out his hand and put it on a crystal pillar. Suddenly a bunch of information appeared in front of his eyes. Level 18 Anti-Combat Group Ordinary Mines, the needs are allocated according to occupations. Level 21 Nanny is looking for a nightmare mine, as long as the final boss's staff. Purchase an Abyss Crystal of Nightmare difficulty, the price is 200 W gold. After a preliminary judgment, Yibi knew that most people at level 15 to 19 use normal difficulty mines, and 20 to 23 use nightmare mines. As for the Abyss, there are only 2 messages that are common for team formation, but both require level 30. That is, the highest level that this dungeon is allowed to enter. CDs with different levels of difficulty are not shared, but people who are obviously not sure will not choose Nightmare to play. After all, this is not a novice dungeon, there is no weakening, and death may occur at any time. Boy, come here at level 14. If you can't form a team, the lowest level here is to start at level 15. A scar-faced man carrying a big axe suddenly said next to Yibi. Yibi just looked back, and the other party was a member of a 5-member team. They are all around 25 years old, but they are clearly not of high rank. With a scouting eye, he saw the level of the scar-faced man. Level 23 Fighter. Huang Bo, why are you talking to a student? It looks like a kid who just graduated from this year. The teammates said impatiently. Scarface glanced at the time, waved his hand and said, "What's the rush? The CD will end in half an hour, and you're free if you're idle. What's the matter? You haven't been here since you were a student." Don't pay attention to him, come on, my brother will tell you as someone who has been here. Scarface leaned against the crystal pillar beside Yibi very familiarly. For the puppeteer, it's best to prepare some sacred enchanting materials, so that you can get twice the result with half the effort in the dead mine. In addition, I suggest that you form a team at level 15, and you can find a higher level to take it down. Although the experience points are small, it is safe. Quote. Obviously, this Scarface is a warm-hearted person, and his personality does not match his appearance. Thank you. Why didn't I see the news of the Nightmare of the Abyss and the team formation of Hell? Seeing the kindness of the other party, Yibi opened his mouth to express the doubts in his heart. The Abyss, that's only for the Union's own people to enter. The dungeon needs 5 people, while the secret realm needs 10 people, and some large secret realms need more people. Without special needs, no one will waste time playing secret realms. Ordinary secret realms produce medicinal materials and ores, so why bother playing nightmares? It's not worth dying for high experience and transitional equipment. Quote. Scarface saw that Yibi still didn't understand, so he said directly, in the dungeon nightmare, only the boss has a chance to be a magician, while the ordinary monsters in the secret realm can be a magician. It is common for a level 30 naked outfit to get caught in seconds, and those with strong equipment can barely withstand the siege of 2 to 3 monsters. Without special talents and skills, don't even think about playing the secret realm. Quote. Scarface is gone. Another strong man in the team patted Huang Bo on the shoulder, indicating that his time was up. After this conversation, many people noticed Yibi, but they all chose to ignore him after seeing that he was a level 14 puppeteer. Not even a team request was issued. As for the Soul Puppet Master, no one cares about this new profession. Insufficient grades are a failure in the eyes of most people. What's more, Yibi didn't even have any equipment and was wearing ordinary clothes. Yibi didn't care about other people's eyes, and walked directly towards the vortex in the sinkhole. Feelings are a fool, just brush the dungeon alone. You're going to die. Every year at this time, someone will be inside, so this is the title of the dead mine. It's another year of graduation, and another year of commemoration. It's nice to be young. These scattered people who are still here in their 20s must not have made much progress. Mixing CDs every day to gain experience, and then joining a mercenary group or trade union, mixing gold coins is a lifetime. The higher the level, the lower the experience, but it's better than nothing. After all, I dare not go to high-level dungeons, for fear of death. Yi Bi's eyes changed, from night to dim light. Dead Mines, as its name suggests, is a mine-like dungeon. There are 3 different passages after entering the door, and each passage is divided into 3 after a certain distance. After doing this 4 times, all channels will converge. The first small boss of the dungeon will appear here. Yi Bi summoned the Skywrath warriors directly, and placed a batch for each channel. He and the Skywrath puppet pushed inward from the largest passage in the center. Kill level 15 coolies, experience plus 1000. Kill a level 15 patrol dog, experience plus 800, get dog teeth plus 1. Kill a level 16 patrol soldier, experience plus 1500, get a level 15 hunting bow, bronze level. After going through 2 forks, Yi Bi has basically figured out the terrain structure and monster distribution inside. Humanoid undead monsters are the main monsters here. There are patrolmen with hounds, there are invisible scouts, and warlocks who can summon demon servants. Seeing the invisible scout who suddenly appeared beside him just now, Yi Bi also reflected on himself. If it wasn't for the blessing of the Skywrath Halo, his attributes would have increased by 10 times, he would probably have died just now. Seeing the puppet of Skywrath lose half of its physical strength, Yi Bi was helpless for a while. Although there is an SSS level talent, if you don't have the opportunity to use it, it will be for nothing. Sharing this talent can ensure that you will not be seconded, and you can even exchange positions with any puppets to achieve teleportation effects if necessary. But the invisible assassin is my nemesis, if I don't have time to activate it. You can only rely on the shared attributes to fight hard, although the puppet will not die if it is not destroyed. But there are still some disadvantages. For future equipment, the first thing to do is to pile up anti-stealth and physique. Looking at the little bit of accumulated soul power, Yi Bi looked forward to it. The soul-infused puppet of Skywrath actually needs 10,000 soul power. Except for the novice dungeon, he killed a lot of wild monsters along the way, but none of them recovered their soul power to 10,000. Fortunately, before the first small boss in the dungeon, his soul power finally broke through the 1W mark. Ensoul. Following the command to possess the soul, the eyes of the Skywrath puppet seemed to be filled with 2 groups of purple flames. The King of Wrath of Heaven gained part of his soul, and opened a new unit, Shaman of Skywrath, and opened a new skill, Supreme Wang Quan. Spirit level 2. The soul skill has been upgraded. The Wrath puppet actually has its own title, King of Wrath. It seems that only the Skywrath King of Soul can upgrade the skill of soul. But after seeing the conditions for the next level of Sky Fury, Yi Bi felt that he might not be able to improve again in a short time. In addition to the soul power of 20,000 for the next soul infusion, the quality of the puppet needs to reach the silver level. Soul power is easy to handle, as long as you upgrade to level 20, the upper limit of soul power should meet the requirements. But the improvement of quality is too difficult. What is known so far is only the energy in the lightning strike wood. After infusing, the Skywrath puppet seems to be more agile, and its attributes have also been improved. Puppet. Wrath of the Sky, bronze level 20%. Power. 12,000. Agility. 6,500. Spirit. 6,500. Constitution. 18,600. Soul power. 2,214 thousandths. Halo. Legion of Heaven. Summoner and puppet attribute and skill strength increased by 10 times. Active skills. Calamity summons the Scourge Legion. Supreme Wang Quan sends multiple swords of soul power in the designated direction, damages physical and physical damage. Passive skill. Absorb soul. Looking at the first copy of the small boss at the junction of the passage, Crazy Overseer. Yi Bi showed a smirk. Another unlucky guy who came to try his skills. Supreme Wang Quan. After mastering the attributes and skills of Skywrath, he directly raised his hand, and more than a dozen sharp swords formed by the condensed soul power flew towards the tall and burly overseer. At the same time Yi opened the Eye of Detection. Level 18 Crazy Overseer Elite. Strength, 2000. Agility, 1500. Spirit, 1500. Constitution, 4000. Skills, Summon Coolies, Berserk, Whip. Kill a level 18 Crazy Overseer Elite. Experience plus 8000. Get the Overseer's Dagger, Silver level. Agility plus 10. Physical damage plus 10%. This little boss was instantly killed by Yi's Supreme Wang Quan before he could use his skills. The next section of the road is a straight line, and the mine has become a lot more submerged. The Skywrath warrior leads the way, followed by several Skywrath shamans. All the way is hacking, and the violent soldiers are hacking without thinking. Although Skywrath shaman's 4 dimensions are not high, his skills are very powerful. Puppet. Skywrath shaman. Strength, 500. Agility, 500. Spirit, 1500. Constitution, 500. Skill, Bloodthirsty level 1. Allies will gain madness effect within 5 seconds, all attributes plus 200%. Rejuvenation level 1. Provide friendly troops with 50% of the current maximum spirit recovery within 10 seconds. With Shaman, the team's endurance and explosiveness are guaranteed. 1 hour later, Yi came to the final boss of this dungeon. Foreman Carl, the Null Berserker and a giant black crystal behind him. Foreman Carl, Lord, level 22. Power, 3000. Agility, 2000. Spirit, 1000. Constitution, 4000. Skills, Knockback, Stun, Slash, Whirlwind. Black Crystal, Lord, level 22. Strength, 0. Dexterity, 0. Spirit, 0. Constitution, 8000. Skill, Invigorate. Give 200% attribute bonus when the HP of surrounding friendly troops is at 30%. Absolute defense. When Carl is dying, make him enter the absolute defense state for 2 seconds. Symbiosis. Carl cannot be killed while alive. Seeing this kind of shameless combination, Yi was also speechless for a while. This is not prepared for ordinary combat systems. If the 5-member team makes a mistake in cooperation, there will be downsizing. No wonder the dungeon's team formation requirements are so high, and it's not unreasonable. But these are not problems for him. 100 Skywrath warriors, plus Bloodthirst from Skywrath shaman. No matter what combination you have to kneel. The jackal was bloodied by the Skywrath warrior, screaming and screaming. The giant axe in his hand also beat the Skyfree warrior back again and again. Repulsed, stunned, slashed, and whirlwind slashed, the Skywrath warrior who rushed to the front in one set was directly beaten into a near-death state. 2 seconds of absolute defense disabled 3 more Skywrath fighters. In the end, Carl and Black Crystal were killed at the same time. Kill the level 22 Foreman Carl, experience plus 18,000. Get Carl's boots bronze level, strength plus 100, agility plus 50, constitution plus 100. Killing level 22 Black Crystals, experience plus 1, enabling Deadmine Nightmare mode. A burst of white light flashed and Yi upgraded again. Name, Yi. Occupation, Soul Puppeteer, the only one. Level, 15, 10.12%. Power, 150 plus 1500 plus 100. Agility, 150 plus 1500 plus 50. Spirit, 450 plus 4500. Physique, 150 plus 1500 plus 100. Equipment, Carl's boots. Puppet, 118 150ths. ... Sure enough, when the King of Wrath of Heaven is here, the attributes are imposed hugely. At the end of the copy, 2 choices appeared. One is a copy and the other is a nightmare mode of Death Mines. Yi decisively clicked to continue. A blood-red prompt appeared in the pop-up window in front of him. It is detected that the team level is low, and there is a risk of death when entering the Nightmare Deadmine. Do you want to continue to enter? Yes. Yi clicked yes impatiently. Familiar dim mines, familiar coolies and patrol dogs. With the skill of Detective Eye, the attributes of monsters in the Nightmare Dungeon have been fully improved. The 4-dimensional attribute directly triples to start. Coolies who could have been killed in 1 blow in seconds actually needed 2 blows to kill them. It seems that the difficulty of Nightmare has hidden attributes, and the defense is not 3 times stronger, it may be more. Since the normal book is 1 knife second, Yibi did not carefully observe the defense of the mobs. On the difficulty of Nightmare, he clearly felt the difficulty increase. Looking at the time, he decided to make a quick decision. The dungeon is just for experience, and the secret realm is his goal. Pushing all the way, Yibi let the King of Wrath of Heaven clear the way at the forefront. With the blessing of attributes, this monster's attack is like scraping for the king. The shaman just puts a rejuvenation spell and it will be full. Take the mobs of the entire copy straight to the final boss. The individual remote ranges are harvested by the Skywrath warriors alone. Until the Foreman Carl, Yibi Burning Soul and Supreme Wangquan are released together. Foreman Carl's mine is as bright as fireworks. This time the Skywrath warrior didn't have any near-death status. The King of Wrath of the Sky beat the Nightmare level Carl to output a meal. In the end, he ended the Dungeon of Nightmare difficulty in his half-blood state. Killing level 22 Foreman Carl, experience plus 54,000. Get Elemental Staff Ice, Silver level, Spirit plus 300, Constitution plus 300, Ice Magic Effect plus 20%, CD time minus 20%. Kill a level 22 Black Crystal, experience plus 1, open the team secret, the Abyss of Death. Yibi looked at the 90% experience bar at level 15. I finally understand what is going on with those people in their 20s who are still in their 20s. After level 15, even if it is normal plus Nightmare continuous brushing, it can only be improved by less than 1 level. According to this progress, it is very powerful to be able to rise to level 18 within 7 days. I really don't know how those who were admitted to Washaw Theological Seminary did it. Leaving the dungeon, it was already dark outside. But there are more and more stalls around the Tianqing. Yibi looked around at the material collection booth, and finally exchanged the animal bone, animal skin or another drops of the dungeon for gold coins at a Sister Hua's booth. It's not because the pair of sisters are beautiful, but the price they give is relatively fair. Add a friend. In the future, if you have materials, you can directly go to the platform of the Job Changer Association to pay. The sister with a ponytail took the initiative to add a job changer friend to Yibi. Han Ling, Intermediate Enchanter. Yibi looked at the names and titles of his friend's address book. Intermediate enchantment just corresponds to level 16 to 30. Enchanting and blacksmithing are must-have friend classes for puppeteers. It's just that for Yibi, an alternative puppeteer, it doesn't seem to be used yet. Sister, he is a puppet master. Han Dang asked. Well, his puppet is very special, and I couldn't see through it for a while. As an intermediate enchanter, puppet enchanting is a must-do homework. But the tall puppet beside Yibi couldn't see any trace of enchantment. However, the quality is only at the bronze level by visual inspection, so it should be a relatively different kind of puppet. There are not many puppet masters here in Linhai, and our city of Wanghai is the hometown of puppets. It's a pity that the public loser controls the relevant industry, and outsiders can't get in at all. Otherwise we wouldn't have come here to try our luck. Quote, Han Ling clenched her fists and said, Sister, look, the public loser is here. Han Dang shrank his body into the darkness, obviously he was afraid of the public losers. Outside the Tianqing, a group of people wearing uniform cloaks mostly stood beside tall puppets. And they happened to be stuck in Yibi's only way. Chapter 11. My friend, I am a public loser, and our third son wants to buy your puppet. Please make a price. Yibi glanced at the yellow-haired man and his ghost-faced puppet standing in front of him, and replied, not for sale. A rookie who just graduated, sole puppet master. A full-time professional. Huang Mao didn't seem to want to give way. One person and one puppet stood in front of Yibi. Many professionals who wanted to come here took a detour and left after seeing the public loser. Obviously the name of the public loser has a deterrent effect. Yibi didn't answer, and directly ordered the King of Wrath to push him away. Hey, you dare to do something. No one can protect you today. Huang Mao was pushed back by the King of Wrath of Heaven, and immediately became angry. Command the golem to strike and kill Yibi. That's right, it's killing. If it is in the city, they will also be scruples about the legal regulations of the Job Transfer Association. But outside the city, everything is decided by fists. A cold light flashed in Yi Bi's eyes, and he shot out a burning soul. Huang Mao's originally arrogant face suddenly twisted, and it turned into a cloud of blood mist in one breath. By the way, his puppets were blown up to pieces. Spike, killer, let's go. The people around immediately scattered like birds and beasts. The sisters of the Han family didn't expect that the person they traded with just now would kill if they said they would kill. At this age, there are not many people who can be so decisive. Gong Shulei, who was sitting in the distance staring at this side, narrowed his eyes slightly, and became even more greedy for Yi Bi's puppet. Take this person down for me, and live. In his opinion, Yi Bi, a level 15 puppeteer, simply doesn't have the ability to instantly kill Huang San at level 20. Only his puppet has the ability to kill opponents silently. Third young master, the patriarch's instructions are to focus on upgrading this time, so don't make extra trouble. The middle-aged man beside Gongshulei said in a low voice. He is the highest rank in the team. Level 28 is not a puppet master, but a defense cavalry. Gongshulei shook his head and said, Wang Hai will have other candidates come tomorrow at the earliest. If you want to brush a copy, you have to wait for tomorrow's CD. Father will be very happy to get a puppet with high research value. Quote. The anti-rider frowned slightly, he was only hired to protect Gong Shulei. Others naturally listened to the third son. Several puppets rushed to Yi Bi first. Go away. The King of Wrath of Heaven blasted away the puppet that rushed up first with just a pair of fists. This kind of waste copper and rotten iron is not enough in his eyes. Come again, die. Yi Bi's words are especially clear in the silent night. For a moment, the puppet masters really didn't dare to take a single step. Yi Bi turned his head slightly, looking directly at Gong Shulei in the distance. The anti-rider immediately stepped in front of Gong Shulei. For a moment, Gong Shulei was overwhelmed by Yi Bi's aura and forgot to make a defensive move. He can feel Yi Bi's murderous aura. A dozen or so puppet masters could only watch Yi Bi walk into the vortex of the sinkhole by himself. Single swipe. Third young master, it's better not to provoke this kind of person. The anti-riding is not good to say more, he can feel that even he may not be able to beat the opponent. Leapfrog killing, many people can do it. Even a level 10 kill is not without precedent. At least the patriarch of Wanghai City's loser can kill 70+ professionals with a level 60 strength. But the puppet master is in a weak stage in the early stage, so why can he solo? Could it be that the puppet is really special? Countless questions appeared in his mind. At the same time, Gong Shulei also had these questions. But as a puppet family, he firmly believes that it must be the power of the puppet. It also strengthened his determination to snatch the opponent's puppet. The relationship between the two is considered to be closed. You must notify the family immediately and send someone here. Gong Shulei decided to keep an eye on this place and asked his family to send people to clean up the other party. After all, I still have to brush up the dungeon to upgrade, so I can't spend it here all the time. Yi Bi, who killed the blocking dog and sent away a few flies, didn't take this matter to heart. Fighting and killing outside the city is not uncommon. Anyway, either you kill me or I kill you. Entering the secret realm, although it was only of normal difficulty, the sense of oppression brought to him here was much higher than that of a nightmare dungeon. As expected of a team of 10 people. After sighing, Yi Bi began to look around. The scene at the entrance is exactly under the crystal stone where the foreman Carl is in the copy. I can clearly feel a burst of heat, and the surrounding air feels scorching hot. In front of you is a section of stone road, below is boiling magma. No wonder it's so hot. Behind the stone road of more than 10 meters are 3 caves on the stone wall. Sky Wrath Warrior explores the way. Inside the cave are a group of 3 abyssal demons. Level 20 Abyss Demon Warlock Elite. Power, 1500. Agility, 1500. Spirit, 4000. Constitution, 1500. Skills. Curse of Pain. Target attribute decreased by 10%. Call Servant summons a demon hound. Level 20 Abyss Demon Warrior Elite. Power, 3000. Agility, 2000. Spirit, 500. Constitution, 2500. Skills. War Stomp causes 1 to 3 seconds of dizziness to surrounding enemies. Half Moon Slash causes 150% base damage in the semicircle area in front. Level 20 Abyss Demon Priest Elite. Strength, 500. Agility, 1500. Spirit, 5000. Constitution, 1500. Skills, stamina, surrounding allies increase 1000 points of physical fitness recover 20% of allies' HP. Another disgusting combination. The 10-person book is indeed powerful enough. Yi Bi sent 15 more Skywrath fighters and gave the order to kill them. 1 minute to end the battle, 2 dying, 5 half-blood. Each Abyss demon contributes 30,000 experience points. At the same time, 3 Abyss crystal shards and 2 pieces of bronze-level equipment exploded. Sure enough, the explosion rate of the group book is really high. The experience is also very impressive. After all, this is an ordinary book, and it is a mob. The next 2 caves Yi Bi added Skywrath Warrior and 2 Shamans. This time there is no near-death state. Half-blood through the Shaman's rejuvenation technique is also directly added. Each mob will produce Abyss crystal shards, which are the most consumed consumables in the trading house. Many auxiliary and production occupations will use it. After finishing the 3 caves, the walls where the caves were located collapsed, revealing the scene inside. The goal of entering is a piece of scorched earth, with abyssal demons roaming in 2s and 3s. At the end of the scorched earth is a huge 2-headed hellhound. Even from a long distance, its huge body and 2 big heads that are constantly shaking can be seen. After roughly figuring out the defense and basic abilities of the abyssal demon, Yi Bi is going to make a wave of mobs here. The soul power contributed by the abyss demon just now is also very objective, and it can completely support his burning soul plus supreme Wang Quan plus natural disaster. The only thing to pay attention to is to accurately target each abyss priest with Skywrath Warrior. Get rid of these guys with recovery ability as soon as possible. Do a simple meditation to replenish the consumed spirit. At the start of the natural disaster, Skywrath Warrior plus Burning Soul will directly kill the nearest abyss priest and cause range damage. The supreme Wang Quan who was not killed hit a row of soul power swords to reap. Perfect solution. Looking at the rows of prompts with experience plus 30,000, Yi Bi said that the group book is nothing more than that. If other people know this, they will surely vomit blood. Most professionals didn't join the trade union or didn't have the opportunity to see the scenes in the secret territory before they were admitted to the university. That is to say, a team composed of individual rare occupations plus full-time occupations can barely grind the secret realm book. A burst of white light flashed. Yi Bi upgraded again. Level 16. Not only did the soul power not decrease, but it increased more and more. Yi Bi finally decided not to wait, and directly opened the double-headed Cerberus. This double-headed hellhound has over 10,000 strength and physique, and 2,000 speed and mental power. 3 stages. The first stage of wooden stakes. As long as you use the Skywrath Warrior to replace the resistance, the shaman will be able to grind through with blood. In the second stage of sprinting, randomly select a local target within a range of 10 meters to initiate a sprint. Make the target dizzy, as long as the plus sign blood is not taken by seconds. The third stage double-headed jet flame and strong acid. Area damage. This is more troublesome. Yi Bi had to increase the number of Skywrath shamans to ensure recovery. 10 minutes to resolve the battle. Kill a level 25 double-headed hellhound. Experience plus 150000. Get rock crystal plus 30, ice crystal plus 20, abyss fragment plus 30. Abyss long sword, silver level, strength plus 500, constitution plus 300, damage to humanoid monsters plus 25%. Attack range plus 2, minimum equipment level 18. Abyss cloak, silver level, all attributes plus 100, dodge plus 10%, invisibility plus 1, anti-invisibility range plus 1. Not bad, except for the anti-invisibility equipment. Continue. After the death of the 2-headed hellhound, a huge gate to the abyss appeared on the platform it was on. It's like a blood-red mirror. There is an abyssal demon rushing towards the mirror. After Yi Bi looked at the platform, there was no way out. Could it be wave after wave of abyssal demons? The Skywrath King and the Skywrath Warriors lined up in front of the mirror, and the Skywrath Shamans stood behind in groups. As groups of abyssal demons rushed out of the gate, the two sides immediately fell into a melee. Because the number of Skywrath Warriors had reached 120, the few abyssal demons who had just left the gate were directly hacked into experience points. This time, there is only experience and nothing explosive. This happened 3 times in a row. In the 4th wave, a huge little boss came out. Without any suspense, he was chopped down by the Skyfree warrior of the bombers. 10W experience plus a silver level breastplate for knights. The 5th wave appears. The number is significantly less. Yi vaguely felt that 2 invisible abyssal assassins had entered within 2 meters of him. Transposition. Yi exchanged positions with the King of Wrath of Heaven without hesitation. It's safe now. Sure enough, just after changing positions, King Skyfree was assassinated by 2 abyssal assassins. But the attribute several times higher than the assassin made him no need to dodge at all. With a backhand, the 2 assassins were sent flying. Then the Skyfree warrior slashed and ended the battle. Another 4 waves ended. With the trembling of the Devil's Gate, the final boss of the raid appeared. Level 28 Demon Lord Loss Master Level. Strength. Agile. Spirit. Constitution. Skill. Yi encountered this situation for the first time. I thought it was my investigative eye that failed. But after using it again, you can only see the opponent's level and name, and the others are still the same. Could it be that the Lord level cannot be detected? Or is the attribute not fixed? Yi didn't panic, but sent a Skywrath warrior up to attack tentatively. He could break through the defense, but he was killed in 3 hits by the tall demon lord with demon wings. Yi directly released the Scourge, allowing the Scourge to temporarily trap the opponent. Then let the King of Wrath of Heaven rush forward with the Shaman. All Shamans give the King blood, and other Skywrath fighters are responsible for output. Put Supreme Wang Quan behind Yi. As the soul power continued to decrease, the soul sword turned into a Stegosaurus and rushed towards Ross. Although it can be seen that the King's blood bar is continuously decreasing, it is always above the safety line. Only then did Yi feel at ease and began to grind the boss. There are still 3 stages, each stage has different characteristics. In the end, when the group attack continued to output, 3 Skywrath Shamans were killed. Almost let the King's bloodline fall below the beheading line. 10 minutes later, Ross collapsed in an unwilling roar. Devil's Gate has also become a portal for dungeons. Kill the level 28 Demon Lord Ross, experience plus 30000, Abyss Fragments plus 80. Obtain the Wrath Gauntlet, silver level, all attributes plus 200, double damage reduction by 2%. Abyss set attributes, 2 pieces of all attributes plus 400, double damage reduction plus 4%, melee skill level plus 1. 3 pieces of all attributes plus 600, double damage reduction plus 6%, long range skill level plus 1. 4 pieces of all attributes plus 900, double damage reduction plus 8%, passive skill level plus 1. 5 pieces of all attributes plus 1300, double injury reduction plus 10%, all skill levels plus 1. Intermediate skill scroll plus 1. It's actually a suit, the best suit before level 29. It is worthy of being the final boss of the group, so it is not a waste of time. Looking at the experience bar, he only reached 52% of level 16. Level 16 upgrade experience has exceeded 1 million. What Ichigo needs is not a simple multiple, but several or even geometric multiples. Fortunately, there are still Nightmare and Hell difficulties that have not been played, and it is expected to be upgraded to level 17 no matter what. According to the minimum requirements of the 18th grade last year, I was able to enter Washa Theological Seminary. The use range of intermediate scrolls is 16 to 29, which is just right for me. Yi knows that this thing is expensive, but he obviously feels that his skills are not enough. Use. Congratulations on obtaining the soul skill. Soul control interrupt the opponent's spellcasting or movement, and make the opponent in a state of insanity for 2 to 5 seconds, depending on the level difference and spirit difference between the 2 parties. When the spirit is higher than the opponent's skills can be deprived. Closing parenthesis closing square bracket. Soul control, a very practical interrupt skill. For combat, 2 seconds may mean life and death. If they face the group attack of the Demon Lord Loss, they won't be as embarrassed as before. After finding out the distribution and skills of the monsters in the secret realm of 10 people, Yi has turned on the Nightmare mode, although it takes a little longer than the normal secret realm. But overall no stress. Especially the emergence of soul control skills made the Abyss Priest lose the ability to increase blood. Before the priest could read the note, he would be interrupted immediately just as he swung forward to release the skill. The only fly in the ointment is that the soul control CD takes 10 minutes. However, once every 10 minutes is enough for Yi Bi to easily face the final boss Ross. As Loss fell again, Yi Bi's experience progress bar was directly pulled to 92% of level 16. The 10-person book on nightmare difficulty actually exploded the Abyss Crystal, which is an item worth 200 W. Although Yi Bi doesn't know its specific use for the time being, it must be extremely rare. Roth Gauntlets, Silver Tier, Roth Robe, Chestplate, Silver Tier, Loth Boots, Silver Tier. A 3-piece suit, the robe cuirass changes appearance based on the user's class. Yi Bi looked at himself in a 3-piece suit, and suddenly he was much more handsome than the shabby one who just entered the dungeon. The current attributes are not so ugly even without the halo bonus of the King of Wrath. Name: Yi Bi. Occupation: Soul Puppeteer, the only one. Level: 16, 92.01%. Power: 160 plus 1300. Agility: 160 plus 1300. Spirit: 480 plus 1600. Physique: 160 plus 1600. Equipment: Elemental Staff Ice, Abyss Cloak, Loth Gauntlet, Loth Robe, Loth Boots. Ice Magic Effect plus 20%, CD Time minus 20%, Dodge plus 10%, Invisibility plus 1, Anti-Invisibility Range plus 1, Double Damage Reduction plus 10%, all skill levels plus 1. Puppet: 160 160ths. The attribute without the aura of the Legion of Heaven is enough to crush any professional attribute of the same level. Sure enough, people rely on clothes, and the attributes of equipment will pile up as soon as they are worn. Looking at the elemental staff in his hand, he showed a look of disgust. After playing the 10-player Secret Realm, the output of this 5-player small copy obviously cannot meet my needs. The elemental staff is a mage weapon and does not fit his profession. Hell level Secret Realm Yi Bi is not in a hurry to enter. According to the difficulty of the Nightmare level Secret Realm, the Hell level must be a hard fight. You need to go out and take a rest first. Hey, it really is tiring to swipe alone. Yi Bi sighed and stepped out of the dungeon. It was midnight outside. But there are many more people around the Tianqing than before. In the crowd Yi Bi saw a familiar face. Leng Ruohan, Meng Fei, Gao Lei. The candidates from Linhai finally gathered. Leng Ruohan and others also saw Yi Bi returning from the Tianqing. Level 16. Leng Ruohan bit her lower lip lightly, and clenched her hands tightly. After a lot of hard work, she survived until the end of the time in the novice book, but she only rose to level 12. Knowing that Yi Bi had already entered the city a few hours earlier than her, she was so proud that she decided to leave the city immediately. It was barely raised to level 14 by brushing alone until midnight. I thought about going into the dead mine to brush a wave, but found that no one wanted to group myself. In desperation, he could only discuss with the candidates in Linhai whether to form a team by himself. Then I saw Yi Bi come out of the dungeon. It was too shocking. Single brush. Leng Ruohan already had some guesses in his mind, but he still couldn't help asking. Okay, Yi Bi replied, and then sat next to the candidates in Linhai City. Leng Ruohan's chest heaved violently a few times. How about Meng Fei? Do you want to form a team to clear the deadmine? Leng Ruohan didn't want to wait any longer. If Meng Fei didn't go, he would find Anhai's examinee team. As for those fools looking at the sea, Leng Ruohan would not consider it. Whether it's admonitions from her family or comments from Wang Haigong's losers, she will never form a team with these scumbags. Miss Leng, if you don't have enough people, our third young master's team will always open the door to you. The examinees at Wanghai had almost gathered, and they were just waiting for Gong Shulei's order. At this time, Gong Shulei was also anxiously waiting for the family members. Because the sinkhole belongs to the entrance of the dead mines and the dead abyss. According to regulations, the highest level allowed to enter is level 30. Therefore, people above level 30 are not allowed to enter within 1 kilometer of the Tianqing. Families are not allowed to participate in the selection of new students, which is also a rule set by the Job Transfer Association. Gong Shulei could only rely on the protection of his family to hire level 28 anti-cavalry mercenaries as his meat shield. although doing so can be regarded as playing the sidelines, but officials will not be disqualified if they do not raise the public. More than half of the previous candidates who were able to enter Washaw Theological Seminary did so. There are very few people who really rely on their own wild teams to brush up and upgrade. As for the single brush dungeons like EB, I'm sorry. Never heard of that. Third young master, let's go, it's past 0. The anti-rider at 28 looked at the time, and he knew that Gongshule must have a subjugation order that could reduce the CD of the dungeon. With the financial resources of the public loser, it is not difficult to get a crusade order. Gongshule whispered a few words to a man behind him who was wearing a big hood and hid his whole face in the hood. And look at ye be on the other side of the sea. Good sir. Gongshule got up and stretched his muscles, looked at Leng Ruohan and said in a low voice, "Sooner or later, I will let you kneel under my crotch." Like Gongshule, there are not a few teams that start after midnight. The children of the family, who are willing to spend money to hire thugs, will choose to enter the dungeon at this time. Anhai City also had a team that rushed into the death mine. In the end, Leng Ruohan also reached an agreement with Meng Fei and the others, and formed a team to enter the dungeon. Seeing more and more teams entering the instance, Yibi got up and stepped into the vortex. It's just that he entered a hell-level secret realm. Hint, the hell-level secret realm public CD is activated, and you will no longer be able to enter the hell-level death abyss within the next 10 days. The CDs of the normal 5-player book, the normal secret realm and the nightmare secret realm are all 24 hours. And hell level is 10 days. Super high monster attributes, super high blood volume and defense. Even clearing the first wave of monsters took Yibi an hour. But the experience value is really fragrant. Each mob's experience bar increases by 1%, which is comparable to a nightmare boss. As for the fragments of the abyss, each mob will produce 3 to 5 pieces. There are also a lot of 20+ equipment parts. It took 4 hours to push all the way to the double-headed hellhound. Even Yibi had to sit down and eat something to slow down. This intensity far exceeded previous expectations. But looking at the 5% experience bar for upgrading to level 17. Yibi means it's worth it. With the soul control skill, it is much easier to face the group attack of the two-headed hellhound. Interrupt the Burning Soul plus Supreme Wang Quan plus Shaman's Bloodthirsty plus Sky Wrath Warrior's Angry Slash plus Burning Soul explosion of several bloody abyssal demons. After a series of operations, the killing time of the two-headed hellhound is actually comparable to that of the Nightmare class. Yibi also finally found the fastest way to quickly kill such bosses with mobs around them. That is, there are a few melee monsters with residual blood left, and they use the Skyfree Warrior to lead them to the boss one by one to burn their souls and detonate them. In this case, there will be some melee bombing bosses with weak attacks in the last few rounds of goalkeeper battles. Take the previous 4th wave of small bosses to test. The 4th wave of small bosses fell. Yibi also verified his own ideas. As long as you understand the monster spawning mechanism of the secret realm, you can use the group damage skill of Burning Soul to collapse the boss. In the end, Yibi chose to use the Skywrath Warrior to pile up the boss Luosi's style of play. It is too risky to go directly to the King of Wrath of Heaven. After all, he is at the hell level, and he still cannot see his attributes. In case the King of Wrath of Heaven is on the verge of death, he and the other puppets will lose the 10 times bonus of the aura of the Legion of Heaven, and it will be over. As for the Skywrath Warrior, even if he is on the verge of death or has been defeated directly, he can still be summoned again. At present, the soul power of the king is full. The soul power contributed by hell-level mobs has already exceeded the speed of use. Too much is a waste, just summon another puppet after it dies. 1, 2, 10, 20. When the 32nd Skywrath Warrior fell, Ross also fell to the ground with a roar. A white light flashed, and Yibi rose directly to level 17, 45%. Kill the 28th level Nightmare Lord Loss, experience plus 150000. Get Roth Shoulders, Silver Tier, Roth Helmet, Silver Tier, Loth Robe, Chestplate, Silver Tier. Soul Devouring Staff, Gold Grade, Abyss Ring, Gold Grade. Perfect Abyss Crystal plus 1, Skill Book, Ice Armor available at level 16. Character Explosion, complete set of 5. Equip the Abyss set directly. In addition to strengthening the attributes again, the overall appearance has also undergone a qualitative change. The crimson robe shone with a faint purple halo, as mysterious as an abyss. Look at the soul-thirsty staff again. The shape is a pair of demon wings holding a fist-sized purple-red hexagonal crystal. Spirit-thirsty staff, gold level, heaven and earth upside down, conversion element attributes, absolute domain, invincible state within 2 seconds, immune to all damage, dispelling all abnormal states CD 24 hours, all skills +2. The 2 built-in skills are functional weapons. It is not very useful for other newcomers. After all, the early stage is the stage of fierce accumulation of attributes. But it is very practical for EB. And there is no need to consider changing weapons in a short time. Abyss Ring, gold level, dodge +20%, all attributes +500, skill, flash 100% dodge CD 24 hours. Very powerful attributes. The 2 gold level equipment have their own life-saving skills, which is perfect. An absolute explosion of character. There is only one perfect Abyss Crystal left. Compared with the Abyss Crystal produced in the Nightmare level Secret Realm, this crystal seems to contain rich natural power. The power of nature. Isn't this the material used by the King of Wrath of Heaven to advance? Switching the field of view of the King of Wrath of Heaven, it turns out that there is purple energy in it. Absorb. The King of Wrath of Heaven has absorbed the power of the source fire, and the evolution rate is 50%. Activate the Sword of the King. With the evolution of the puppet Skywrath King, his broken armor became much more complete, and a 2-meter-long giant sword appeared with it. The entire puppet looks more intimidating. This is only the bronze level. If it is promoted to the silver level, what level will it be? Yibi couldn't help but look forward to it. It is very easy for an ordinary puppet master's puppet to advance from bronze to silver, and it is enough to spend about 500,000 gold coins. A few excellent puppets need some nightmare-level dungeon materials, but generally speaking, they are not as troublesome as the Skywrath King. The materials produced by the boss of the Hell-level Secret Realm will do. How many puppet masters can do it? In addition to upgrading, the main task in the next stage is to collect similar materials. Yibi put on all the equipment and glanced at the attribute panel. Name: Yibi. Occupation: Soul Puppeteer, the only one. Level: 17, 45%. Power: 170 plus 1700, equipment plus 1700, halo. Agility: 170 plus 1700, equipment plus 1700, halo. Spirit: 510 plus 1700, equipment plus 5100, halo. Physique: 170 plus 1700, equipment plus 1700, halo. Equipment: Soul Thirsty Staff, Abyss Suit 5/5, Abyss Cloak, Abyss Ring. Puppet: 170 170ths. Soul Skill: Infuse Soul Level 2, Burn Soul Level 1, Control Soul. Skills: Upside Down, Absolute Domain, Flash. Soul Control: interrupt the opponent's spellcasting or movement, and make the opponent lose their soul for 1 to 5 seconds, depending on the level difference and spirit difference between the two parties. When the spirit is higher than the opponent's skills can be deprived. Talent: Sharing SSS level. With the blessing of Halo Plus Suit, most professionals whose attributes are definitely above level 30. Yibi dare to say that this attribute crushes any copy below 30. Even if you don't use a puppet, you can kill the boss of the dead mine with a flat axe. Walking out of the secret realm, the dazzling light made Yibi gently pull the hood. The moment he stepped out of the secret realm, a pair of eyes hidden in the dark had already fixed on him. The strengthening of attributes makes Yibi very sensitive to the premonition of danger. But he didn't look over there, but pretended nothing happened and walked towards Meng Fei and the others. Because he saw Meng Fei, who was wearing a bandage, and Leng Ruohan, who was a bit embarrassed. Seeing Yibi appear, Meng Fei immediately stood up and said, "Boss, you are already level 17. Take care of your brothers. What's your situation?" Yibi asked while sitting on a stone beside him. Meng Fei glanced at Leng Ruohan and said, "The regular book is fine. We went directly to the nightmare class after finishing the game, but the healing was cut short. It's my fault. I insisted on reading the nightmare book. I didn't expect the monsters in it to have such high attributes." Leng Ruohan also frankly admitted his mistake at this time. Yibi didn't expect Miss Leng to admit her mistake on her own initiative. At least in his opinion, the death in the dungeon is no one's fault. After leaving the city, we must have the awareness of sacrifice at all times. What are you going to do? Let's see if there are still people who are willing to form a team. At most, just use the simple book alone. Lang Ruahan felt a little helpless. After something like this happened, no one would be willing to form a team with their group again. No more groups, let's go to fight the wild monsters outside the city. Although we have little experience, it's better to be safe. Another healer and assassin in Lang Ruohan's team expressed that he didn't want to go to the instance. At worst, go to a provincial university, and spend 6 days outside the city with wild monsters, and you can almost get to level 15. It is also very flattering to pass the entrance examination of Donghai Provincial University. Not only those who quit the dungeon to upgrade, some ordinary teams of Anhai and Wenghai also suffered serious injuries and downsizing. Many people also gave up their dream of entering Huasha Theological Seminary. After all, life is more important. Yi Bi rested for a while and drank his saliva and said, "Wait for me for 5 minutes, I will bring you the nightmare book." Meng Fei immediately regained his energy and made a gesture to beat Yi Bi's leg. "Stay out of the way." Yi Bi got up and walked towards the copy. "Boss, team up, team." Halfway through Meng Fei's shout, the Yi Bi people had disappeared into the vortex. What's the matter with him? Meng Fei scratched his head and asked Lang Ruahan beside him. "We've played the normal version, he must have gone to the normal version, and then played nightmares together." Lang Ruahan couldn't be sure, after all, he had seen Yi Bi come out of the dungeon before. But he said 5 minutes. Just brush for 5 minutes. So what happened when the 5 of us played for more than 6 hours? I suspect that we are not playing the same book. Quote. Meng Fei suddenly became a little messy in the wind. "I don't know about that either." Lang Ruahan shook his head, expressing that he really didn't know. "Isn't this a girl from the Lang family? Why, no one is forming a team anymore. I heard that someone in your team died, how careless. My previous proposal is still valid, you should consider it. Otherwise, don't even think about entering the seminary at the 18th level." Quote. Gongshu Lei looked at Lang Ruahan playfully, as if he could get his wish tonight. "Borrowed, block the way." Yi Bi's voice came from behind Gongshu Lei. He was so frightened that he dodged and hid behind the anti-rider. "Set off." Yi Bi didn't take another look at Gongshu Lei, and sent out an invitation to Lang Ruahan and Meng Fei to form a team. Lang Ruahan didn't expect that he would take her with him. It's better to form a team with him than to lose to that scumbag Lei. Seeing the 3 of them disappear into the vortex, Gongshu Lei's fist sizzled. "Brat, I'm sure you know the consequences of offending my loser. Let's go, let's continue to collect experience." Gongshu Lei took out the crusade order, reset the copy CD, and continued to collect experience. The family has ordered that if he fails to reach the 18th level, he will be assigned to work in the trade union directly. The core layer of the public loser has nothing to do with him. ... The scene that both Meng Fei and Lang Ruahan had deep memories reappeared. Yi Bi checked the progress, and he didn't even beat the first group of monsters. "How do I cooperate?" Lang Ruahan took out his staff and entered the combat mode. "Just follow me, you don't have to do anything." Yi Bi summoned 2 Skyrath shamans to protect them. Although this move is unnecessary, but if you are not afraid of 10,000, you are afraid of it. I promised to take someone with me, but let people die, I can't afford to lose that person. Seeing the puppets being summoned one by one, Meng Fei and Lang Ruahan were stupefied. When can a puppet master summon so many puppets? You need to know that only level 10 puppeteer can summon the second puppet, level 20 can summon the third one, and so on. Follow up. Yi Bi let the King of Skyfree open the way, and the other Skyfree fighters are responsible for hacking and chopping. Kill the first small boss directly, and rush to the room of the foreman Carl without stopping, and end the battle with Wang Quan, the Supreme King. From the beginning to the end, the 2 of them were in a state of bewilderment. Lang Ruahan checked the time, it was exactly 5 minutes. It turns out that 5 minutes is used to run through the dungeon, not the time to play the dungeon at all. Use these equipments first, the suits can be given to Lang Ruahan first. In a while, I will take you to brush the secret realm and also produce suits. Quote. Yi Bi threw the elemental staff, Bing and Luosuo to Lang Ruohan, and threw a shield from before to Meng Fei. The abyss set. You actually managed to get 10 people in the secret realm. Lang Ruohan was shocked again. Is there such a big gap between myself and him? The efficiency of the 10-person secret realm was also very high, and Meng Fei and Lang Ruohan also slowly recovered from the shock. Yi Bi's seemingly understated skills all work together. The violent soldiers are fierce, but they will definitely not achieve such efficiency. In 3 hours, 10 people have finished clearing the normal and nightmares of the secret realm. Meng Fei is level 15, Lang Ruohan is level 16. Let's rest, the rest can't be brushed anymore. Yi Bi took a sip of water and said. Only then did Lang Ruohan feel a little more comfortable. Sure enough, no matter how perverted Yi Bi was, he would not dare to try the hell-level secret realm lightly. But what Yi Bi said next made her want to vomit blood. 1 CD for 10 days in the hell-level secret realm, the cooldown is over, and the big exam is over. Hell level. Boss, can you not take Versailles? Meng Fei swallowed his parched throat. There's no way, this shit keeps calling 666 all the way. He even pretended that he was not a waste, but he also had uses. In the end, Lang Ruohan had to use a few skills symbolically. What a shame. Leaving the secret realm, Yi Bi asked. Are you waiting for the CD here, or are you looking for something else to do? Lang Ruohan took out a black token and said, I have a subjugation order, I can continue to make dungeons. I just don't know if you. Are you tired? Do you think I look tired? Let's go. Although Yi Bi didn't like the experience of the 5 of them. But no matter how small the text is, it's meat. If you can't do it once, you can do it 10 times. Anyway, the Lang Ruohan local tyrant has a crusade order. After 5 times in a row, Meng Fei and Lang Ruohan finally couldn't hold on anymore. I really can't run anymore. Meng Fei panted while sitting down at the entrance of the instance. Yi Bi's attributes are high, so I don't feel tired. Let's stay here. I'll let the puppet go inside to attract monsters, and then bring them out to kill them. Can it still be like this? Boss, you should have said it earlier. Meng Fei refused to get up when he heard that it could still be like this. It takes too long, it's not efficient. Yi Bi is so efficient, how could he do such an inefficient behavior? Don't worry, there are up to 10 dungeons per day, and up to 10 times if there is a subjugation order. Lang Ruohan explained. That's all right, let's eat something here, and I'll let the puppet attract monsters. After speaking, Yi Feng actually took out a grill, and said to Lang Ruohan, please light a fire. If these words were normal, Lang Ruohan would definitely beat him up. What do you mean? My fireball technique let you ignite it. I am a mage but not a chef. Can you respect my profession? But now, well, in fact, no matter whether it is a dungeon or a secret realm, it can't be seen that I am a mage. I could only lower my head and light the fire, and sat silently beside the grill in a daze. This is unrealistic. The promised dungeon is extremely dangerous, and it may kill you at any time. Lang Ruohan's 3 views collapsed. On the contrary, Meng Fei has a strong adaptability, or rather heartless. Not only started to help Yi Bi grill the sausage, but also cleaned up the thigh meat of the patrol dog to make ingredients. I'm coming. Meng Fei chewed on the barbecue, and pointed to the dungeon boss running from a distance. Yi Bi didn't even look back, and Wang Quan cleared the field with 1 shot. Boss, your skill is handsome. It's all flying swords, and it's a bit like cultivating immortals. Meng Fei liked this skill more and more. You can't learn the puppet skills. Yi Bi knew what this kid was thinking. Oh, sure enough, Meng Fei showed a hint of disappointment, but only for 1 second. Yi Bi suddenly thought of something, and threw the ice armor skill book to Lang Ruohan. Skill book. It's too precious. Lang Ruohan can accept equipment, but not skill books. After all, her family doesn't have any extra wealth in the ice armor skill book. After learning the last dungeon, Yu and Meng Fei also participated in the battle. In addition to experience, the most important thing in playing dungeons is actual combat. It is impossible for me to take you all the way. Yi Bi is very clear about the truth that it is better to teach a person how to fish than to give him a fish. Okay, Lang Ruohan was no longer polite. She is not the kind of character who depends on others to become stronger. That in this time there was really no group, and the family couldn't send anyone. As for hiring foreign aid, her self-esteem would not allow that. Gong Shulei's behavior is something she has never been ashamed of. In the last dungeon, the normal Yi Bi hardly participated in the battle, but sent 2 Skyrath shamans to be responsible for their safety. However, with the blessing of the suit, Leng Ruohan is almost a child with 2 ice picks. Dare to use Blizzard to brush at the end. But the nightmare-level dead mine still made Meng Fei and Leng Ruohan suffer a lot. A few times, Meng Fei ran around crying, and Leng Ruohan kept controlling his position. Fortunately, they persisted in the end. The moment he stepped out of the dungeon, Meng Fei sat down on the ground. Yi Bi, you are such a devil. At the end of the boss, he almost thought he was going to die. The furious Carl had already raised his giant axe, but suddenly froze in place. He knew that Yi Bi must have made the move. But this is so exciting, the stimulation to my little heart is a bit beyond the tolerance. Leng Ruohan was also tired and dripping with sweat, but his face was full of excitement. Sure enough, actual combat is the best teacher. Yi Bi's control of the battle situation is very good, and he can always make shots at critical moments. The proud she also has to admire. I won't lose to you, it's just that you walked a while first. Leng Ruohan secretly vowed in his heart that he would surpass Yi Bi. Isn't this Miss Leng? Why are you in such a mess again? Could it be that the staff has been reduced again? Gong Shulei finally finished the 3rd dungeon, and when he came out, he saw the tired and out-of-breath Leng Ruohan. Leng Ruohan just glanced at him, then caught up with Yi Bi in front of him. Meng Fei also patted his butt and stood up, and the shadow said strangely, "Hey, there is still an upper limit for the subjugation order, I don't know what to do with the rest of the time." The upper limit of the subjugation order. Bragging. Gong Shulei's teammates immediately retorted. You must know that they have a level 28 anti-cavalry as a meat shield to be able to brush 3 times. Why can Meng Fei brush 10 times? Anti-riding Liang Yu looked at Yi Bi's back, and the equipment exuding a faint purple halo looked familiar. Abyss suit. Abyss set. You mean the Abyss series produced by the Secret Realm? Gong Shulei is a member of the family no matter what. Even if you haven't seen a suit before, you've heard of the ceiling of this early stage equipment. That's right, I remember Qin Yunfang, the genius of my year, had a set of such equipment. The image that had long been lost in the corner of memory gradually became clear, and Liang Yu became more and more sure that Yi Bi's equipment was the Abyss set. Dharma God Qin Yun Peak. Everyone exclaimed. Maybe they don't know about the Abyss, but everyone knows the name of Qin Yunfang, the god of Dharma. That one is more famous than the owner of the public loser. Now one of the 4 gods of the Huasha Theological Seminary. Properly the mainstay of China's combat power. Impossible, he is a puppet master, how can he master the secret realm? Gong Shulei roared out in envy. Many passers-by dispersed to both sides, looking at him like an idiot. Liang Yu saw Yi Bi's level 18. Back then, Qin Yunfang was only upgraded to level 18 on the last day. The gap between the two is already obvious. I don't know when such a real dragon appeared in Linhai City. Continue to swipe the book, and try to swipe 10 times before midnight. Liang Yu looked at Gong Shulei with some pity. It is his misfortune to be in the same class as Yi Bi. It's also an opportunity. I am the best example. I have been muddled for more than 10 years before I understand this truth. Back then, Qin Yunfang was too dazzling, and many students in the same class lost their spirit. But there are also a small number of people who resisted the pressure and showed amazing potential. It was also the class with the most students who became gods in that class. They were all grateful for Qin Yunfang's presence. After picking up his mood, Liang Yu stepped into the dungeon first. Now he is just a poor guy who earns some living expenses by leading people to brush books. If he didn't say it himself, many people would not know that he and Qin Yunfang are in the same class. After all, the gap between the two is too great. Gong Shulei glanced at Liang Yu, feeling unhappy. Qin Fa Shendu is about to hit level 70, and you are still a 28 small defense cavalry. If it weren't for the fact that your level is just right and your occupation is suitable, I wouldn't be looking for you as a worthless. Quote. Although he was upset, Gong Shulei still had to rely on others to fight against the monsters. After Gong Shulei's commotion, many professionals near Tianqing knew that Yi Bi was wearing an Abyss suit. Boss, add a friend. Gigi. Add a friend, I am a very obedient nanny with a lot of milk. Friend, I am the vice president of the Anhai Ling Yun Trade Union. Many people appeared in front of Yi Bi one after another, just to add a friend. Yi Bi's gaze just swept across coldly. Many people were terrified. The coquettish nanny continued to play tricks on the strength of her beauty. But immediately appeared in front of her was a cold beauty who was half a head taller than her and whose appearance was more than one level higher than hers. Between women, after witnessing a confrontation, judge immediately. The nurse finally chose to leave. There is no way to compare, the amount of milk that I am most proud of is still not enough. With the appearance of Leng Ruohan, many thoughtful people of the opposite gender were also extinguished. In fact, even Leng Ruohan didn't know why he stood up. Could it be that he fell in love with him? He secretly glanced at Yi Bi, who was leaning aside and meditating, and felt relieved when he saw that he didn't respond. Everyone else left, but there were still two sisters who did not leave. He looked at the two coldly, as if swearing his own sovereignty. That we are friends of Yi Bi, just want to ask if he still sells materials. Han Ling asked weakly. Yi Bi slowly opened his eyes, motioning for the two girls to come over. Only then did Leng Ruohan slowly turn sideways. Do you collect the fragments of the abyss? Abyss fragments produced by the secret realm. Except, of course, how many do you have? Han Ling didn't expect that he would be willing to sell such a sought-after item that was nowhere to be found in the trading house. Yi Bi took out an abyss shard and threw it to Han Ling, asking, "Tell me about its use." Useful. There are too many. Almost every occupation in the life department needs this. Especially after the intermediate level, abyss fragments have become a necessity. Half of the auxiliary professions also need it, and the formation mage needs this large-scale reinforcement formation. Quote, as long as you hang around in the circle of professionals for a while, you will naturally know these things. So Han Ling wasn't going to hide anything. Where's the puppet master? Yi Bi continued to ask. Puppet masters, the demand for silver level and above is more, but there are also different types. There are many branches of puppet masters. Take our public loser in Wanghai City as an example. Sisters Han Ling and Han Dang introduced the puppet master profession branch in a word-by-word manner. Mainstream puppet masters are divided into three categories: mechanical, living, and self-reformed. Machines accounted for most of them. Creatures and self-reforms were difficult and risky, so not many people chose them. But most of the strong puppet masters come from these two branches. As the name suggests, a creature is a living monster turned into a puppet, which still retains a little soul, which has part of its own meaning. This branch is similar to hunters, warlocks, summoners and other occupations with summoned objects. Self-reform is to change oneself into a puppet, which belongs to a relatively unpopular branch of puppet and self-fusion. This branch is more like a profession with transformation ability, such as druid, werewolf warrior, etc. But no matter which branch, there is a family inheritance, and many skills and crafts are not passed on. Abyss shards are one of the core materials for making and upgrading golems. Both the Union and the family use the fragments of the abyss as strategic material reserves. What about the abyss crystal? I see that the trading house has released acquisition information. Yi Bi thought of an acquisition news that he had seen before. Building suits is required by advanced professions, and can be regarded as an advanced version of abyss fragments. And it is even more rare and precious. No one will sell those in the trading house, and the value of the abyss crystal far exceeds that price. Quote, I heard from my grandfather that many 30-plus secret realms need abyss crystals as keys to open some hidden areas. Leng Ruohan added. It's so dark, no one is really willing to sell that with 200 W gold coins, right? Meng Fei also heard it enthusiastically, and joined the discussion. Han Dang shook his head and said, normally speaking, there will be none, but there are also many casual professionals who don't pay attention to trading houses. They do not have a union, or the union does not have high-level professional players. If they encounter a small explosion rate event in the secret realm, they may also choose to sell. Quote, when Yi Bi heard it, it was him. Fortunately, I asked in advance, otherwise I would really die. Boss Yi, if I need fragments, you have to support me. Meng Fei looked at Yi Bi. After all the gains from brushing the secret realm belong to him. How old are you? Brush it yourself in the future. Yi is not reluctant to give it to him, but it must not develop the habit of getting something for nothing. Young people are always easy to talk to, and the Han sisters, Meng Fei and others gradually became acquainted. However, the two sisters found that Yi seldom spoke, and occasionally asked questions related to the puppeteer's upgrade. If you don't mind, you can show us your puppet, maybe we can help you. The two sisters, one enchanting and the other alchemy, are both professions serving puppet masters. Yi nodded and let the King of Wrath of Heaven stand in front of the two women. Looking at the tall and mighty Sky Wrath King, the two women studied him for a long time but shook their heads helplessly. Your puppet is very special. We have seen no less than 1,000 puppets in Wanghai City, but none of them are similar to you. That's right, whether it's the alchemy forging structure or the external enchantment, there is nothing like this. It's normal if you haven't seen it. Yi replied in his heart. It seems that the matter of upgrading has to be resolved by itself. I have some scattered equipment and materials here, you can sell them for me, 1% commission. Yi is also too lazy to consign and sell equipment by himself, as he also charges a handling fee when going to a trading bank. Although the two women are businessmen, their character is fine. Is that okay? Thank you so much. Sister Han Dang thanked her excitedly. You know, the supply of goods is too difficult to find these days. The reason why they come to Tianqing to do business is not because Wanghai City is monopolized by public losers, and retail investors have almost no supply of goods. In desperation, he ventured out of the city wall. I'm going to give you a good friend. She has a deep knowledge of puppets. You can ask her about the advancement of puppets. Han Ling recommended a puppeteer named Mo Feiyan to Yi through the professional contact information. It is good. Yi added friends by sharing. Several people had dinner together, ready to take a break to meet the new CD. The Han sisters didn't expect Yi to bring out so many parts and materials, and they laughed from ear to ear. For 6 consecutive days, Yi led Lang Ruohan and Meng Fei to brush 5-player and 10-player secrets all the way. In the end, Yi was level 21, Lang Ruohan and Meng Fei were level 19. The source of experience for later upgrades is mainly the 10-person team copy. After brushing the 5-player copy to level 18, the experience that can be provided is very little. Get ready to go back, the CD is over today. Yi stretched himself. In order to save time, he emptied all the CDs on the last day. Meng Fei also got his wish and collected all the Abyss suits. 3 people have a purple halo, a red halo, and a white halo. Which trade union is this? Wearing an Abyss suit. Some discerning old generation fighters recognize the suits of the 3 of them. There is no trade union badge, it should be a disciple of those big families. The hidden eyes staring at Yi in the crowd never left for a moment. What hunters need most is patience, and this order cannot be missed. You go first, I still have some personal matters to deal with. Yi finally looked at the assassin hiding in the dark, and said coldly. Lang Ruohan and Meng Fei looked at each other, knowing that someone was following Yi. If you leave the Tianqing, you will lose the level of protection. Why don't I ask my family to pick it up? Lang Ruohan didn't want to go out and be robbed, who made the equipment of the 3 of them too dazzling. What should come will always come. After saying that, Yi walked straight to the outside of the Tianqing. Lang Ruohan gritted his teeth and followed. Meng Fei also took a few deep breaths, followed closely behind with his giant shield and long sword in hand. Yi led the King of Wrath of Heaven, and walked towards Linhai City without slowing down. Followed by Lang Ruohan and Meng Fei. Until the 3 of them entered the dense forest, far away from Li Tianqing. Only then did many professionals appear on the surrounding giant trees. Yi stood still, Meng Fei and Lang Ruohan also formed a triangle position. Originally, you just need to hand over the puppet, but since you are wearing the Abyss suit, don't blame us for being tricky. The leader wears a grimace mask, and the whole person is hidden in a huge cloak. It's cold in Sha Lang's family, everyone may wish to make it easier, and the Lang family will definitely express itself in the future. Lang Ruohan reported his name, hoping that these mercenaries would not dare to act rashly because they were afraid of the Lang family. At the same time as she left the Tianqing, she also told Lang Yun about the general situation here. But it would take at least several hours for the Lang family to get here from Linhai. Grimace Man obviously didn't expect the Lang family to show up, but since she was wearing a suit, he could just kill her together. 1, 2, 3, 17, 18. There are quite a few people here. Yi judged the opponent's number by contributing the vision of the King of Wrath. The ghost masked man was also shocked, knowing that there were 6 assassins on his side. In addition to showing up by himself, there are 5 other people who used stealth skills to hide around. How did he see it? Is there anti-invisibility equipment? Kill. The ghost-faced man knows that it is useless to talk too much, so what if he knows the number of people on his side? On my side, there is an average of 30 plus, and level suppression alone is enough to win. There were only 3 opponents, and including the extremely powerful puppet, there were only 4 enemies. No matter the level or the number of people are all dominant. Kill. Yi spoke softly when the other party said kill. The Skywrath warriors and Skywrath shamans who had already ambushed gathered from all around. The King of Wrath of Heaven made a move of natural disaster, and fastened the 10 enemies on the ground in place. As soon as Supreme Wang Quan came out, the 2 assassins and mages hiding in the tree were instantly killed. Only close combat with high defense and physique can last several rounds in front of the Skywrath warrior. But after the CD of the injury-free skill, it is still vicious northwest. In the end, only the ghost-faced man was left messing around in the wind. Yi didn't kill him because there were some things to be sure. You, who the hell are you? The ghost-masked man has killed countless people since he became a mercenary. But never as scared as now. Even in the face of beings a few levels higher than himself, he didn't have such a sense of fear of being dominated. I ask, you answer. Yi spoke slowly. The public loser sent you. Yes. The ghost-masked man no longer cares about the trouble of exposing his employer. If he doesn't cooperate now, he may have no future. While answering, the ghost-masked man immediately started sprinting, and a shunpo appeared in front of Yi. The pitch-black dagger had already stabbed Yi's throat. Everything happened so fast that Meng Fei, who was on the defensive, didn't even react. Apparate. Yi switched places with the King of Wrath in an instant. Before the ghost-masked man realized what had happened, a huge sword had pierced his chest. Why is this happening? It was his last voice before leaving this world. Unwilling and puzzled. When the job changer dies, things with their own space will explode. Seeing the materials, equipment and gold coins all over the floor, Yi ordered the Skywrath fighters to collect them one after another. Fly legs are also meat. Even if they are tattered, they can be sold for money. Mercenaries live a life of licking blood with knives, so all their belongings will be kept on their bodies at all times. And the higher the level, the bigger the portable space. In the end Yi had to give up some useless items. I found out that the quickest way to get rich is to rob. These guys are rich. Although Meng Fei just drank the soup, he found that the space was full. Lang Ruohan, on the other hand, had a higher vision, selected some supplies and materials and accepted them. Seeing Yi holding a stone in a daze, Meng Fei immediately moved over. This stone is weird. Can you see it? Yi turned around and asked. Cannot. Then how do you know there are weird ones? Because you've been staring at it in a daze. Yi. Pooh. The always cold Lang Ruohan couldn't help laughing. Yi, who is usually quiet and reticent, and Meng Fei, who is mean-spirited and mean-spirited, these 2 extreme personalities can have such an interesting situation. Yi threw the stone to the King of Wrath of Heaven, and it really could be absorbed. The grade of the King of Wrath of the Sky has been increased from 50% of the bronze rank to 60%. Unexpectedly, there will be unexpected rewards, and the truth of Yi's death will come again several times. Along the way, I saw many students trying to kill wild monsters. Most of the levels are around 14, and there are only a few with 15 levels. It seems that not many can go to provincial universities before the end. When they were still a few kilometers away from entering the fortifications outside Linhai City, the 3 of them finally met the team from Lang's family. Grandfather. Lang Ruohan waved to Lang Yun, who was leading the way. Because the halo of the white suit was a bit flashy, Lang Yun couldn't tell that it was his granddaughter. Chapter 21. Abyss Set. Lang Yun rubbed his eyes and finally confirmed that it was Lang Ruohan in front of him. Lang Ruohan was pulled aside by him, and asked for a while before finally believing everything in front of him. single-handed secret realm, and cleared all 3 difficulties. Lang Yun felt that all these years had been spent on living dogs. After coaching for so many years, I have never seen any genius but like Yi Bi. It's the first time I've seen someone who just brushed the hell-level secret realm without making a sound. It's not uncommon for there to be big bosses who can solo the secret realm, but they are all celebrities who have become gods. Whether it is equipment, skills or talents, they have matured. Even those celebrities were only a little better than ordinary geniuses before they became famous. And Yi Bi's strength is not just a little bit, but a billion points. After figuring everything out, Lang Yun couldn't wait to find Yi Bi. I won't say much, just ask if you can help me in the future. In Lang Yun's eyes, Yi Bi is no longer a student who just changed jobs. It is a strong man who can talk to him on an equal footing. In this era where the strong are respected, strength is everything. I really have something to trouble you. Yi Bi briefly described the material that can upgrade the King of Wrath of Heaven, and hoped that Lang Yun could help to get it. Our Lang family has a perfect abyss crystal, which was in stock more than 10 years ago. As for the material that contains the power of nature, I haven't really paid attention to it yet. Of course, if you need, I can discuss with the owner. Open the owner's warehouse and go take a look. Quote, Lang Yun has already seen the value of Yi Bi. If he doesn't make friends at this time, it may be even more difficult to have a chance in the future. That's troublesome. Yi Bi is also a sensible person, and the other party can open the family warehouse for him. This shows how much you are worth. After it was agreed to go to Lang's house at night, Lang Yun immediately contacted his family to prepare for the grandest reception ceremony. Not only to celebrate Lang Ruohan getting the Abyss set and upgrading to level 19. Let's join Meng Fei, too. Although you and Ruohan are not from the same school, we are the pride of Lin Hai. If you want to know how to behave, you still have to look at the bald headmaster. Knowing that this is the pendant who followed Yi Bi for a ride. But still secretly praised each other. Meng Fei always wanted to have this feeling of being watched by thousands of people in his dreams. Naturally, he readily agreed. When they arrived at the fortifications outside Linhai City, many people had already gathered here. Lin Guodong looked anxiously in the direction of the forest. He had already learned about Yi Bi's situation from Lang Yun. But I still want to see the effect of the Abyss set with my own eyes. The soldiers guarding the city also looked at them one by one. They are not too old, and they have never experienced Qin Yunfang's era. But I am still very envious of this kind of top-level equipment before level 30. Coming, purple, red and white. 3 sets of Abyss sets, this time Linhai City has become famous. Quote, it's so handsome, the equipment of level 40 or 50 is not so cool. It's not just cool, I heard that this equipment comes with high attribute bonuses and double damage reduction, and it also has special effects of +1 for all skills, it's simply cheating. Really, I can't burn this skill even if I'm killed. If all skills are +1, it's worth my years of practice. So, this suit is amazing. Passive +1 means that you understand everything. It's sour. While everyone was discussing, the teleportation array at the rear directly opened a door. The mayor of Linhai City personally took people out of the city to greet him. Welcome home to our gifted students. As the highest administrative officer in a city, the mayor naturally has no need to mention his rank. There is such a heavyweight welcome out, which is enough to show that the entire Linhai City values Yi Bi. All of a sudden, there was a flash of long guns and short cannons. Yi Bi shined on others along the way, and this time he was also shined by others. Level 21, enough to go down in history. Ling Guodong laughed from ear to ear. After taking a group photo with Yi Bi, the mayor left with others. Ling Guodong followed the Leng family's convoy back to the Leng family's villa. That's right, the whole villa. The villa itself is also the headquarters of the Leng family's Bihai labor union. The feeling of the whole villa to Yi Bi is just one word, big. The buildings around the mountain can't be seen at a glance, and the Leng family's family business shipyard is at the foot of the mountain. The ships here are not ordinary ships, but long-distance warships with both formations and enchantments. The 3 cities of Linhai, Wanghai, and Anhai are all surrounded by the sea, and each city has its own warship. This is an official designated project of the Huasha Professionals Association, so it goes without saying that it is profitable. Mainly status. So Lang's family is in Linhai, the mayor has to give enough face. How is it? It's not bad, right? So you can consider my previous proposal. At this time, Lang Yun still didn't forget to win Yibi over. Although he knew the chances were slim, he still wouldn't give up if he didn't try. Yibi shook his head helplessly. This old man really did not spare any effort to sell his granddaughter. Thinking of Lang Ruahan, he couldn't help turning his head to look at this aloof young lady. And the other party was also looking at him. The four eyes met, and the atmosphere was a little delicate for a while. Excuse me from the bad business, I'm anxious, can you let me go? Meng Fei didn't want to disturb the two of them. But I can't hold back in the car. I thought it would be convenient to get into the room just by getting off the car, but it turned out that the villa is so big. The nearest houses are several miles away, which is going to suffocate people. Lang Yun was so angry that he almost beat him to internal injuries. Let's go together. In order to ease the embarrassment, Yibi can only use the excuse of being with Meng Fei. Lang Ruohan's father had a mission and was not in Linhai. Mother Chen Qing stayed at home because of her graduation. Lang Ruohan is cold in front of outsiders, but she still shows her childish side when facing her mother. Yibi, who finished releasing the water with Meng Fei, returned to the hall. 3 generations of Lang's family were seated at the 4 tables. The final main table is Lang Yun and the owner Lang Feng, as well as Lin Guodong, Yibi and others. Lang Feng first congratulated Yibi for being the first graduate of Donghai. Then directly announced the decision of Lang Ruohan and Yibi's engagement. It made the parties concerned look confused. Yibi is okay, he doesn't suffer from this kind of thing. But Lang Ruohan asked her mother frequently. But Chen Qing didn't know about this decision either. Of course, even if she knew, she would never object. Just think about Qin Yunfang, the god of Dharma back then. Professionals who can wear the abyss suit by themselves before level 30. It will become a great tool in the future. Seeing that her mother couldn't get an answer, Lang Ruohan could only peek at Yibi. Fortunately, Yibi looked calm, thinking that he already knew. Seeing that Yibi wanted to speak, Lang Yun immediately changed the topic. Of course, both of them are going to enter Huasha Theological Seminary for further study. So the marriage is postponed, just to set the name. When he succeeds in his studies, graduation and marriage will be double happiness. Quote. When it comes to this point, Yibi can only acquiesce. After all, with the Lang family collecting materials for the advancement of the Sky Wrath King for himself, it will be much faster. On my own, I am afraid that even after graduating from the seminary, I may not be able to reach the gold level. After the dinner party is the main event. Lang Feng and Lang Yun took Yibi to the basement of Lang's villa in person. After passing through a magic circle similar to a dungeon portal, the 3 came to the interior of Lang's warehouse. The 2 brothers just waited at the door. Yibi took the King of Wrath of Heaven into the depths. Along the way, Yibi couldn't help but marvel at the wealth of Lang's family. No wonder being able to sit in Linhai City for 100 years has not been replaced. The mayor has changed several times, but the position of the Lang family is still as stable as a rock. After walking around, Yibi found a piece of extremely cold material. That's it. Yibi handed this ice cone-like spar to Lang Yun. Lang Yun checked the warehouse records and said, "This is the material exploded by the level 55 field boss that our Lang family hunted 5 years ago. At that time, no suitable forging blueprint was found, so one was left in the warehouse." Quote. The product of the field boss. Yibi finally knows the source of this material. In addition to field bosses, some special dungeons or bosses in hidden areas in secret realms will also produce similar things. I remember encountering it once more than 10 years ago, but unfortunately the materials were taken away by the teammates at that time. Quote. After seeing this special energy fluctuation, Lang Yun also remembered similar items he had seen before. Then let's do both. Yibi held a perfect abyss crystal and said to this spar. Okay, as long as it helps you improve your strength, just take it. The owner of Langfang is also generous, and he will give it if he asks. Yibi collected the things, then took out 1,000 abyss fragments and handed them to Lang Feng. What is this for? It's for you if you say it, take it back. Lang Feng pretended to be displeased. Take it as my betrothal gift to Ruohan. Although Yibi doesn't like to talk usually, he understands the principles of dealing with people and things. Lang Feng and Lang Yun looked at each other, secretly praising this kid for his ability to handle things. Haha, if you want to say that, I have to accept it. Lang Yun took the heavy bag of abyss crystal shards. This value is no worse than those 2 items. In terms of importance, the Lang family still made a profit. Those who need the perfect abyss crystal are treasures, and those who don't really care much. Otherwise, this crystal would not have been kept in Lang's warehouse for so long. On the contrary, the strategic reserve material such as abyss crystal shards is the hard currency. Please prepare me a quiet room, I want to try to advance to the puppet rank. Yibi can't wait to see the silver rank Skywrath King. Okay, let Ruohan take you there. Lang Yun recorded the abyss crystal on the warehouse bill with a smile. Along the way, Lang Ruohan seemed to have turned into a mute, took Yibi to a guest room facing the sea and ran away like flying. Yibi could only touch his nose, feeling helpless for a while. Pushing open the door, there is a floor-to-ceiling window facing you. Not far from the window is the sea. Looking up is the endless starry sky. The view is really good. After admiring the beautiful scenery for a while, Yibi picked up his mood and began to recharge the Skywrath King. After the 2 pieces of material went down, the body of the King of Skywrath began to change. The shattered armor that was originally somewhat blue turned silvery white. The devil's horns on the top of the head also have complex textures. The last silver beam of light soared into the sky. Then came the sound of crackling from inside the puppet. It seems that there are countless thunderbolts exploding in its body. Yibi immediately activated the soul skill, Infuse. Then 2 groups of purple lightning appeared in the eyes of the King of Wrath of Heaven. The King of Skywrath initially obtained his soul and opened a new unit, Skywrath Mage. Skywrath King and other ranks have been upgraded to silver ranks, and attributes have been improved. Get Shadow Form. Puppet. Normal form of the Wrathful King, silver level. Strength, 20,000. Agility, 15,000. Spirit, 15,000. Constitution, 30,000. Soul power, 40,000 40,000ths. ... What happened? I feel the house shaking. Many members of Lang's family noticed something strange, and they walked out of the room to look in the direction of the villa where the residence is located. Lang Ruohan and Chen Qing also walked out of the villa one after another. Looking up, he saw the huge white beam of light that went straight to the sky. Not only the Lang family, but even the mayor of Linhai City who had just had dinner at home saw this vision of heaven and earth. The Lang family, could it be that someone has become a god? As he guessed, there are also public losers from neighboring cities and Angia from Anhai City. The 2 patriarchs flew out of their mansion one after another, looking towards the direction of Linhai Lang. The beam of light that lasted for several minutes has just receded. A jet-black phantom appeared in the sky. It was as if a demon had spread its huge wings, covering the stars and the moon. This scene was naturally caused by Yibi. In order to see the attributes of the Shadow King, Yibi activated the shadow form without hesitation. Puppet. Shadow King, 60 seconds. Strength. Agile. Spirit. Constitution. Soul power. Max. After Yibi saw the attributes of the Shadow King, he immediately thought of the master class. 60-second countdown form of existence. This coercion made Yibi feel his hairs stand on end. Not to mention other people. Immediately switched the form of the King of Wrath of Heaven. Yibi walked out of the room slowly. Sorry, it's a bit more than expected, the roof is broken. Seeing the 2 elders of the Lang family flying out, Yibi hugged the 2 of them in the sky. Ha ha ha, it's okay, my Lang family has another god-level existence, and it's too late for me to be happy. The sound of the cold wind is extremely penetrating, and it doesn't seem to be meant for Yibi. Congratulations, old Lang. Congratulations. Congratulations. ... A dozen voices of congratulations came from the directions of the 3 cities. Yibi could only recognize one voice from the mayor of Linhai, and did not recognize the other ones. The cold wind clasped his fists in 3 directions in return. Congratulations. Congratulations. Lang Yun fell to Lang Ruohan's side and whispered, take Yibi to your boudoir to rest. Lang Ruohan felt hot all over his body, and his face suddenly felt like a hot iron. Chen Qing on the side whispered, "Father, is this? If Han doesn't understand, don't you understand? What does the difference between heaven and earth mean just now? Don't confirm the relationship between him and our Lang family at this time. I believe that when you arrive at the seminary, someone will be there first." Quote. Originally, the Lang family was just making an appointment to wait and see, but the appearance of the scene just now immediately changed the attitude of the two elders of the Lang family. Become a god. The difference between heaven and earth that can only be seen when one becomes a god. As for Yi Bi's level, it doesn't matter, the important thing is that he has a god-level puppet. That's enough. Lang Ruohan knew that the marriage of the children of the family was not up to him. She has been educated since she was a child, so she has no choice. Compared to marrying someone she doesn't know, Yi Bi is the better choice in terms of appearance and ability. But being watched by so many people arranging such a thing is still a little uncomfortable. Ruohan. Lang Yun's tone became a little more serious, which is enough to explain his anxiety and dissatisfaction at this time. Yi Bi, let's go. Tears filled Lang Ruohan's eyes, but they couldn't flow out. Yi Bi sighed softly, and led Lang Ruohan into her room. After closing the door, Lang Ruohan couldn't hold back any longer, lay down on the bed and cried bitterly. She had fantasized about countless bridal chamber scenes, but she never thought of this one. How could she, who is extremely cold, have ever been wronged like this? What do you know about seminaries? Yi Bi asked suddenly. Lang Ruohan wiped away his tears and choked up, "What do you want to know?" "Well, let's talk about all aspects. Huasha Theological Seminary is the highest school for professionals in Huasha, and it is also one of the top 10 seminaries in mankind. It contains 3 dungeons and 2 secret realms, as well as 2 trials of becoming a god, the Theology Tower and the Conferred God Platform. The school uses the credit system as the basic measurement standard, and you can get credits for doing tasks on weekdays. Tomorrow's national exam will also have corresponding credit rewards. This will be the first credit for admission to seminary. The Theological Tower is a compulsory place for students, and I don't know the specific rules very well. Only formal students who have entered the seminary are allowed to know." Quote. With the narration to the seminary, Lang Ruohan gradually calmed down. Reverted to the state of a glamorous scholar. While listening, Yi Bi entered a state of meditation. Obviously today is not suitable for doing indescribable things. Whether it is from the cold mood or tomorrow's big exam, this kind of quiet meditation is the most suitable. Thanks. Lang Ruohan thanked him softly, and quietly fell asleep leaning on Yi Bi's shoulder. Ruohan. Chen Qing's voice came from outside the door. Lang Ruohan slowly raised his head from Yi Bi's shoulder. After simply tidying up his clothes, he opened the door. "Mom, okay." Chen Qing agreed perfunctorily, then looked into the room, and then at her daughter. Lang Ruohan shook his head lightly. Only then did Chen Qing let out a long breath. That night, she, a mother, was worried to death. "It's not that I'm worried about what will happen to my daughter, but I'm worried about tomorrow's big exam. In case the 2 youngsters fail to hold on and the daughter breaks her first night, it will definitely affect the next day's big exam." Fortunately, this kid Yi Bi understood the overall situation and did not do anything out of the ordinary. Yi Bi's position in her heart has directly risen to the highest level. This son-in-law is very satisfied. Get ready, the family will send a car to take you directly to the examination room in Donghai later. After they had breakfast, they saw Meng Fei who had been waiting for a long time outside the villa. "Okay, Boss Yi, your progress is fast. It is comparable to the efficiency of brushing a dungeon." Before Yi Bi could say anything, Lang Ruohan hit Meng Fei's ass with a fireball attack. "This time it's the bottom, and next time I'll call it directly on your mouth. It deserves it." Yi Bi put down the 2 words and got into the car directly. When the Lang family's convoy arrived at the examination room, the Donghai examination room was already crowded with people. 23 cities in Donghai province, where hundreds of thousands of candidates from hundreds of high schools are concentrated. "Let's go here, only candidates can enter inside." As principals, Leng Yun and Lin Guodong were naturally going to be there. The staff in charge of the security checks were all dressed in formal attire from the Huasha Professionals Association. When I saw that Yibi's level was 21, I checked it 3 times before letting me go. Is that the first place in the province that was hyped up yesterday? I'm sure, level 21. I've been in charge of the examination room security check for more than 10 years, and this is the first time I've seen the existence of 20. I heard that Qin Fashion participated in the provincial examination as the #1 student in the East China Sea at level 20, and won the provincial champion. This is level 21. Just from this point of view, it's even better than Qin Fashion. Well, we all came from the low level, and before the big exam, only the dead minds can be used. Level 21, this can only be achieved by brushing the secret realm of 10 people together. Quote, there is more than this wave of talk about Yibi. Anyone who knows that there are 21 graders taking the big exam is extremely shocked. When all candidates enter the designated position, a group of people wearing dragon-patterned cloaks suddenly appeared in the sky. The middle-aged sword-browed and star-eyed leader is wearing an apricot yellow mage robe in his cloak. Dharma God Qin Yun Peak. I didn't expect him to invigilate the Donghai examination room this year. Lin Guodong and Leng Yun recognized the person immediately. It's a great honor to return to my hometown to invigilate the exam. I announce that the East China Sea sub-examination room of the Huaxia University examination will start. As Qin Yunfeng finished speaking, a phantom of a tower with 9 giant dragons coiled around it appeared in the sky. The lower end of the tower falls on the area where candidates sit. The upper end goes directly to Kangshong Theological Tower. Candidates for reference are taken into the Theology Tower according to their grades. Next, I will announce the exam rules. Candidates will divide the content of the exam according to their grades and occupations. The combat department focuses on actual combat, while the auxiliary department has non-combat assessments. Life is determined by the level and quantity of finished products. Quote, the exam will have difficulty options, divided into 3 levels, normal, nightmare, and hell. There are corresponding points for different levels, which will be displayed on everyone's panel at that time. The points are the credits for you to enter higher education institutions in the future. When you arrive at university, you will understand that credits are more important than gold coins. And the most important point, there is 2 minutes of preparation time before entering the venue. When the time comes, your private space will be locked, and no items can be taken out. So you can equip the required equipment within 2 minutes, but the use of props and potions is not allowed. If found to violate the start rules, all examination qualifications will be cancelled. The rules are announced, and the 2-minute countdown begins. With one order, hundreds of thousands of people began to put on their equipment in unison. The whole scene is so colorful and beautiful. The most dazzling ones belong to the 3 people on Yibi's side. Abyss set. Sure enough, it didn't come in vain. Qin Yunfeng's eyes showed a trace of reminiscence, as if he had returned to the scene of his big exam back then. Give me the information of the 3 of them. Immediately, the invigilators of the examination room handed over the materials of Yibi, Leng Ruohan and Meng Fei. Soul Puppet Master. Hidden occupation. It's not a public loser. It's interesting. Qin Yunfeng naturally knows the secrets between the 3 coastal cities. But when he is in his position, he will definitely not care about these trivial things. After reading the materials of the 3 people, I also read the materials of the 19th and 18th grade candidates. These are all seedlings who have the opportunity to be admitted to Huaxia Theological Seminary. But whether you can get in depends on everyone's performance in the next few rounds of exams. In 2 minutes, the candidates are now in the corresponding examination room. The proctor team led by Qin Yunfeng also flew into the conference room that had been prepared. After entering the meeting room, the invigilating members suddenly relaxed. There are actually 3 candidates wearing abyss suits this year. Although there are still a few who don't wear the whole set, but judging from the parts, they should undoubtedly be the abyss set. Those level 19 must have cleared the secret realm, otherwise it would be impossible to reach level 19. Well, I only reached level 18 after maxing out the number of dungeons and subjugation orders. It started. Although there are hundreds of thousands of candidates, the invigilator is only responsible for the live monitoring of the top 200 candidates. What Yibi saw after entering the first level was a device similar to a portal. On the other side of the portal is a level 21 null mage. According to the rules of the exam, law versus law, melee versus melee. A monster of the same level as itself. According to the killing time and level, a weighted algorithm is used to obtain the final score. Examination task. Kill the wolf man mage. 3.2.1. The Null mage walks through the portal. Almost at the same time, Yi launched Burning Soul. The Null's tail was instantly killed before it completely passed the portal. The examiners in the monitoring room rubbed their eyes. But he didn't see how the wolf man disappeared. Playback, slow down by 10 times. Qin Yunfang ordered. Immediately, someone switched the screen of Yi's examination room to playback, and pressed the 10x speed down button. This time everyone saw the details. The moment the jackal stepped out of the portal, he disappeared into a cloud of blood. That's why everyone didn't see the wolf man. Isn't this too fast? This skill is amazing. Does the puppeteer have such skills? No, there are puppet masters in my team, and they are both mechanical and biological. Check the data. Level 21. This is an unprecedented exam level, maybe the data parameters are wrong. Immediately have a technician query the parameters. But sorry, no problem. Change to the parameters of the nightmare level and try again, the points will be superimposed. Qin Yunfang, as the chief examiner of the cemetery, absolutely has the right to intervene in the first 3 exams. The technicians adjusted the parameters and started the examination process again. This first test is the level of professional combat and the timing of shots. Difficulty is the level of wild monsters. And Qin Yunfang doubled the difficulty directly, turning it into a nightmare difficulty for the instance. He wants to see how strong Yi is, and he must force out his trump card. Yi saw another wolf mage appearing in the portal. I thought this was the normal test procedure. Then the difficulty will definitely increase. However, after exchanging attributes with the King of Wrath, the spiritual value is as high as 15,000. Burning Soul is a skill that judges damage based on spirit. Not to mention that the copy of the second nightmare is strange. Even if the hell level of the secret realm comes, it will be the same as the second. There is no suspense, it is still a spike. My lord, this. Qin Yunfang took a deep breath and said, it counts as the first place. After 2 minutes, the first round of exams ends. The majestic voice spread throughout the examination room. The number of people who took the test was 126,073, and 86,963 people passed the test. Announce the top 200 results. The results of other candidates can be automatically queried through the panel. Yi, kill level 21, time 0.01 second, points 210. And Shuecheng, kill level 19, time 1.21 seconds, points 188. Leng Ruohan, kill level 19, time 1.52 seconds, points 185. The results of the 200th place are announced to the whole examination room. This first place is outrageous. What the hell is 0.01 seconds? 0.01 seconds. God's prediction. This is against the sky. Gongshu Lei saw his results outside the top 10, and his anger suddenly surged in his heart. It's this Yi again. It must be his puppet, I must have it. The own puppet, which looked quite pleasing to the eye, immediately became unsavory. Yi ranked first, broke the record. The cold bald head patted Lin Guodong, who was already stupid. Well, this kid can. Leng Yun on the side smiled secretly. Don't look at the glory, it's all your old Lin's head. It is my Leng family who can really keep people. Looking at the results on the screen, and Shuecheng suddenly felt a huge wave in her heart. Leng Ruohan, who was originally regarded as the strongest competitor, turned out to be the third. This one called Yi is really strong. As expected of Boss Yi, awesome. Don't mention how exaggerated Meng Fei's expression was. Because of the bonus of suit attributes, his score also entered the top 10. It doesn't make sense, attributes and skills each have an advantage in the early stage. Many people can kill with one blow, but judging the timing of the shot requires very precise control of the battlefield. After a short rest period, the majestic voice sounded again. The second round of exams begins. Please choose the difficulty of the exam. There will be casualties in the combat department exam, please choose carefully. If you call out to give up during the battle, it means that the test will be terminated, and the score will be calculated as 0 points. Auxiliary Department and Life Department. After the rules are announced, everyone has 3 minutes to prepare. The difficulty of the second round of combat is divided into 3 levels: normal, nightmare, and hell. The first 2 are the difficulty of ordinary 5-player, and the third is designed between the normal difficulty of 10-player and nightmare difficulty. Each monster point corresponds to 2 points, 4 points, 8 points. The unified time is 15 minutes. The competition in this round of assessment is who kills the most monsters per unit time. The core of the assessment is how to allocate physical fitness and skill sets. Without any suspense, the mages and hunters in the top 20 all chose the difficulty of hell. The King of Kites is not barking. Gongshule also chose the difficulty of hell, which is his confidence in his puppet. Meng Fei was the only candidate among the top 10 who did not choose the difficulty of hell. He chose the nightmare difficulty, very self-aware. It's a smart choice. Choosing the hell level for the shield battle is courting death. If it weren't for his abyss suit, he would have to choose normal. Sure enough, the attribute bonus in the early stage is quite useful. Many invigilators began to discuss. Yi is naturally hell difficulty. Although I don't know the specific situation, it won't be the same difficulty as the secret hell, right? If it's the same, he won't hesitate. It's a big deal to explode soldiers. Continuous combat capability. An ordinary puppet master may be equal to a hunter, but I am not an ordinary puppet master. The corners of Yi-B's mouth rose slightly. Yi-B also chose the difficulty of hell. It seems that he is very confident in his battery life. His puppet may be unique, but how is it compared to the public losers? Since Gongshule and Yi-B are both puppet masters, they were naturally included in the comparison by the examiners. After all, the comparison of different occupations is biased. Everyone turned their attention to Qin Yunfeng. After all, he was an examinee of Donghai back then. The public loser secretly hides 3 sets of puppet-making methods, 3 levels of heaven, earth and people. It's not convenient for me to say the specific details, but I can tell you clearly. Gongshule used a sky-level puppet. Quote, I know a little about this. The puppet master in our team uses earth-level puppets. It's already quite perverted. It seems that Gongshule may have the possibility of a latecomer in this game. Quote, Qin Yunfeng just smiled and didn't draw a conclusion. The exam has officially started. Level 18 Abyss Demon Warrior Elite. Strength, 3,500. Agility, 2,000. Spirit, 500. Constitution, 3,000. Skills. War Stomp causes 1 to 3 seconds of dizziness to surrounding enemies. Half Moon Slash causes 150% base damage in the semicircle area in front. This attribute is similar to that of a level 20 secret monster, a bit weak. Yi hoped to increase the difficulty, but unfortunately there is no 4th grade in the exam. And the setting of level 18 is set according to the threshold of Huasha Theological Seminary. The King of Wrath of Heaven raised his sword and fell it with his hand, and settled the battle with 1 blow. No way. Another instant kill. It's too much. My lord, what should we do? The invigilators no longer knew how to proceed. In previous years, I have never met a candidate who can instantly kill hell-level difficulty monsters. Qin Yunfeng was also shocked by Yi-B's actions. You must know that Danian himself can only kill a hell-level existence with 2 hits. The attack of this puppet is too strong. Gongshule is next to the 3rd monster, and he summoned the 2nd puppet. Double hit a monster. Gongshule managed to hit a monster twice. Continue. The stronger the puppet, the greater the consumption of controlling the puppet, 15 minutes. The implication of Qin Yunfeng's words is that the puppet master cannot maintain the peak state alone. And Shueqing from the Yin family is also very good. Is this big fireball an enhanced version? So fierce. She is an awakened flame talent. Fire magic has double attack damage. 1 is worth 2. Leng Ruizu from the Leng family is not bad. Although the attack power of ice magic is slightly weaker than that of fire magic. But Sheng has advantages in endurance and control, and she has a high chance of overtaking in the later stage. Quote, Qin Yunfeng, as a leader of the legal system, naturally saw the pros and cons of the 2 women's skills at a glance. 10 minutes, if the daughter of the Leng family wants to overtake, this is the node. The invigilators looked very lively and commented on each profession. But Yi in the examination room is much more boring. The king of Wrath of Heaven was slashing, but he took out the manga in his pocket and began to read it. This is too arrogant, my lord, what do you say? It was also the first time for Qin Yunfeng to read comics during an exam, and he was really arrogant. But at the same time, it also reflects his strength. The same puppet master, Xu Lei, has already started to meditate to restore his mental strength. Compete with each other. As long as there is no violation of the rules, we have no right to interfere with the behavior of candidates in the examination room. Qin Yunfeng decided that this was not a violation of the rules, but it was indeed a bit contemptuous. This is the national exam, can you respect it? I know it's not against the rules, but it just makes me uncomfortable. I think back then I threw my head and blood in the examination room. Quote. That's right, I almost failed in the second exam. That's how people are, the more they talk about it, the more they look uncomfortable, but they just can't help but want to look at it. It's been 10 minutes, and this guy's puppet killing speed is not slow at all. The killing time of Gongshulei's heavenly puppet is 2 seconds slower than before. Could it be that his abyss set has strong attributes, and the puppet attributes are also strong? No, the strength of the puppet attribute depends on enchanting, alchemy and forging techniques. At most, the bonus of skills is added, which has nothing to do with equipment attributes. Quote. The one with the puppet master in the team directly denied the judgment of his colleagues. More than half of them have been staring at Yi Bi's test screen. Until the moment of the end, Yi Bi's puppet did not slow down at all. And those who stared at Leng Ruohan and Enxueching finally saw the power of Lord Dharma God. In 10 minutes, Leng Ruohan surpassed Enxueching with points. Every minute of the 15 minutes was fine, but when the 5th minute started, people gave up one after another. Melee occupations run out of blood and don't want to give up, so they can only run. The monsters will be refreshed regularly, even if they are not killed, the next one will appear. Fortunately, the examination room is still big enough, and the proper use of deceleration skills can barely drag it to the end of 15 minutes. This is the level where the hunters give up the least, because they can release the trap after the baby is dying. Even if the kite group of monsters cannot be killed, it is still guaranteed not to quit the exam. When the 15 minutes are up, all monsters disappear. I can't take it anymore, one more minute and I'll just give up. Nima, is this an exam or a murder? Many people sat on the ground panting. Some are almost on the verge of death. As for the pale face, it is considered good. Leng Ruohan and Enxueching wiped the sweat from their foreheads one after another. Gong Shulei hid behind the two puppets and held up a shield to resist. In the later period, it was obvious that his killing speed could not keep up with the refreshing speed. He didn't want to run away with a kite, so he could only shrink in a corner and rely on the super high attributes of shields and puppets to resist. Nothing is more relaxing than Yi Bi. As soon as the exam time came, he put the manga in his pocket. The second round of exams is over. The reference number of combat department is 12,960, and the number of people who passed the exam is 3,521. The test results are as follows. Yi Bi, points 7,410. Leng Ruohan, points 1964. Enxueching, points 1909. Gong Chengji, points 1721. This level directly eliminated more than 70% of the candidates in the combat department. A burst of white light flashed, and the injured and dying candidates immediately recovered to full state. The majestic voice sounded again. The third round of assessment is more difficult than the previous round. There may be a possibility of being killed before calling out to give up. Candidates are expected to carefully choose the difficulty and whether to continue to take the exam. Quote. After going through the second round of exams, many people have seen the cruelty of the exam. It will really kill people. But they persisted until the second round. It would be a pity to give up. If you don't give up, I'm afraid you will be carried away directly. Many candidates are caught in a dilemma. Qin Yunfeng saw that most of the examinees showed a look of difficulty in making a choice, so he said. Everyone with a grade over 15, including 15, and with over 1,000 points can enter a provincial university. I'll give you 30 seconds to think about it, and those who don't make a choice after the time is up will be deemed to continue. As soon as this remark came out, many hesitant candidates immediately chose to give up. Just kidding, 30 seconds for a few breaths, in case the hand shakes, wouldn't it be the rhythm of death? But there are more choices to continue, so we have to look at the situation. It's too embarrassing to give up without hitting. Seeing that the platoon had risen to 8th, Gongshule felt a little better. But looking at the 6,000 point difference from the first one, he finally understood the gap between himself and EB. But he had already prepared for the third round of exams, and this would be a comeback. With the end of the 30-second countdown, another 823 people gave up. Looking at the changes in the data, the examiners nodded slightly. This year's candidates are not bad, and not many give up. Although it is scary, it will not really let the examinee die. After all, the big exam is to select talents, not to kill people. But the conduct and courage of the candidates are also used as the criteria for examination. Those who dare not dare to challenge difficulties, how to carry the banner of human beings. See the announcement of the results of the second round. Lin Guodong outside the court has become numb. Instead, Lang Yun gasped. Judging from EB's score, he got full marks in the first and second rounds. Old Lin, Yibi got full marks. Lin Guodong really lost his ability to think. His eyes just stared straight at the scoreboard. The two are high school teachers, right? A parent of a candidate on the side of the two squeezed closer and asked. Well, what's the matter with you? Lang Yun didn't correct the address of the other party. After all, the principal is also a teacher, so there is nothing wrong with calling him that. Why is there such a big gap in the scores? Could it be a problem? That's no problem, you need to know the two mechanisms of monster refresh time in the second round of exams. The first is the killing mechanism, as long as it can be killed within 5 seconds. Then click to refresh the second one as soon as possible after the kill. If the kill is not completed within 5 seconds, a new monster will be refreshed in the next second. Did you see the number 1 score? He just got the full score of 7,200 in the second round of exams. Quote. Oh, that's right, I'm from the life department. That's why I don't understand the exams of the combat department, thank you so much. My son has entered the top 200 list. Quote. Lang Yun nodded and said, yes, there is hope to enter the seminary, and the first one is my grandson-in-law. Ahem, farewell. The rules of the third test are as follows. The next exam is still available in 3 levels of difficulty, with a total of 10 waves of monsters. Monsters will appear as a combination of small bosses and mobs of different professions. The mob points are still divided into 2, 4, and 8 difficulty levels, and the boss points are 200, 400, and 800. Quote. This level is to test everyone's comprehensive abilities such as extreme combat ability, group attack ability, skill combination and positioning. A friendly reminder, boss will have silence skills. So if you know that you are invincible, it is better to give up in advance. Otherwise, after being silent, I am afraid that there will be no chance to shout. Quote. It's okay if he doesn't remind, many candidates are worried about this reminder. Do you want to just give up? Ordinarily, the boss will be silent if he doesn't come up, right? That's too cheating. Yibi was the first to make the hell difficulty choice. This is the first thing. As soon as the exam rules are announced, I will directly choose the hell level. Nonsense, the first 2 rounds were full score contestants, do you care about the difficulty? You can't say that. There are mobs in front of you. This time there is a boss, and there is more than one. Floating, stay safe. Lin Guodong came to his senses at this time, thinking that Yibi shouldn't be so reckless. This is indeed a bit reckless, a boss with hell level difficulty. Even if it is not as good as the real secret nightmare boss, it is almost the same. I hope he can persist for a few more waves, so that the score will remain ahead. Quote. Lang Yun didn't think Yibi would be able to hold on to 10 waves in hell level difficulty. HMPH. Be aggressive and play cool, and I'll let you overturn in a while. Gongshule had already made full preparations for the third round. Yibi took the lead in the first 2 rounds and was already full of anger. This time, he must let that kid know the consequences of fighting with him. After checking the 2 puppets, Gongshule also chose the hell difficulty. Another one who chooses the difficulty of hell. Why is the puppet master so strong? Didn't it mean that the early puppet masters were weak? Can anyone tell me what's going on? Quote. Strength is relative. Ordinary puppet masters are definitely weak, but how strong is the puppet of the public loser? Okay, I know that the public loser puppet is great, but what does the number 1 Yi-Bi mean? Ah, the Soul Puppet Master, it looks pretty powerful at first glance. You are a name party. I can't see the content of the exam, hurry up. I really want to see the picture inside. After Yi-Bi and Gong Shulei, someone else chose the difficulty of hell. And Xueqing, Leng Ruohan, and 4th place sword dancer Gong Chengji. In the end, 9 people chose the hell level, 105 people chose the nightmare level, and all the rest chose the normal difficulty. Candidates are now preparing for the exam. The proctors discussed everyone's choices. The brat of the public loser must have a whole card, otherwise, based on his performance in the last round, how dare he choose the hell class? Compared to him, I am more interested in Yi-Bi's cards. That's right, from the beginning of the exam until now, he hasn't even moved his place. It's not too easy for a puppet to do the whole process. Quote. Don't forget, he just summoned a puppet at the moment. At level 21, you can have 3 puppets. Quote. Yeah, how could I forget this? Puppeteer level 10 can increase the usage of 1 more puppet. Although advanced puppet masters may not necessarily win by numbers. But the low-level 1 more puppet has a lot of attack power and attack methods. Quote. Everyone was talking about it, mostly around the topic of the puppet master. Obviously, this year's exam in Donghai province must be dominated by puppet masters. This is not to say that veteran mages, warriors, knights and other professions are not good. But the combat style of the puppet master is changeable, and a dark horse will appear from time to time. Among the top 200 candidates in Donghai province this time, there are 12 puppet masters. Public losers accounted for 11. It has started. Followed by a member of the Invigilator shouted. Everyone stopped discussing one after another, and their eyes were all on the split screen of the top 10 candidates. Yi-Bi saw that the scale and terrain of the examination room had changed a lot this time. It seems that this time we have to test the use of terrain. Although this is very useful, I don't seem to need to take advantage of the terrain. It's moving. Yi-Bi is moving. The Invigilators finally saw that the 6th child moved. What is he doing? He's walking towards the portal. Isn't this level a test of terrain utilization? Why didn't he go back and instead ran to the front of the portal? Could it be? Hiss. The examiners gasped. Yi-Bi has only one purpose in doing this, and that is to kill the monsters that come out in the first place. Whether it is a mob or a boss. This is the performance of absolute confidence. It is also the embodiment of Versailles. My lord, do you want to warn him? There have been cases of death among all candidates in this test. Although there are many examiners who are unhappy with Yi-Bi, they can't just watch the talented candidates fall like this. After hesitating for 2 seconds, Qin Yunfeng said, I personally watched his examination room, and if there is a problem, I will terminate the examination. Here Yi-Bi finally stood 5 meters in front of the portal. He raised his hand and placed a Skyrath shaman 5 meters behind him. The second puppet appeared. Haha, this kid finally got serious, so let me just say it. Who can retain their strength in the 3rd round is purely courting death. Quote. The first boss is out. Dead. Who died? Yi-Bi. No, the boss is dead, it's 2 seconds away. Isn't this too bullying? This is a hell-level boss. Even if it's the first one, it's still as powerful as the small bosses in ordinary secret realms. Quote. The next mob was also a knife and a child disappeared. This shit. The examiners no longer knew how many foul language they had uttered. But the shock inside is beyond words. Qin Yunfeng, who had been nervous all the time, also sat back in his seat. In his opinion, candidates with such strength should not be seconded. Depends on how long you can last. In his memory, it seems that only the lunatic from the seminary persisted until the 10th wave of the hell level. But in the end the boss was not killed, and he almost died. Even so, it broke the record of the Washa exam. No one has been able to break it so far. Yi-Bi wiped out the first wave of monsters and small bosses with lightning speed. But the other candidates have just started fighting, and some candidates who use the terrain haven't even started fighting yet. Look at Gong Shulei, he finally broke out. What kind of ability is this? Will the puppet explode? It's actually the same as Yi Bi's choice, close to the portal and go straight. Gongshu Lei in the examination room changed his behavior in the previous round and walked to an open space 15 meters away from the portal. The heavenly puppet took the little boss around first. After the subsequent mobs came out, they fired several flaming bombs directly from their arms. The second one actually completed the kill. My lord, is this considered cheating? After all, the use of props is prohibited in the exam. The examiners have not forgotten their responsibilities. Qin Yunfeng naturally also saw the pyroblast bomb hidden in the puppet. The product of an alchemist. There are many kinds of puppets. Some life puppets are like some kind of professionals. As long as they are not used by the examinees themselves, it is not considered a violation. Although Qin Yunfeng said so, he knew in his heart that this was a trick of the public loser. But puppeteer and summoner are indeed occupations with changeable combat styles. As long as it is within the rules, these are nothing. And he also saw that the method of defeating Lei with the public can survive until the 7th wave at most. Yi Bi is reading comics again, is there any reason for this? The examiners looked at Yi Bi in the picture and took out the comic book again, and suddenly some people couldn't stand it anymore. I wonder, what kind of manga is he reading, is it so attractive? No, is there something wrong with our focus? Now is not the time to discuss comics. Shut up, keep an eye on the other candidates, and terminate the assessment immediately if there is any danger. Qin Yunfeng is also very angry, but what can he do? The rules don't stipulate that you can't read comics, right? This time the big exam is over, the exam committee must first recommend to join the big exam that prohibits reading comics. Yi Bi didn't expect that the act of just playing time would be included in the rules of the big exam by later generations. As the wave of the portal increased, this time the boss came out with 5 mobs. It's interesting, there are more and more mobs. That's more than any of us. Yi Bi held the comic picture book in his left hand, raised the Soul Eater staff in his right hand, and directly summoned 4 Skyrath warriors. This, 6 puppets. This number is wrong. Yeah, Yi Bi is only level 21, how can he summon 6 puppets? Qin Yunfeng glanced at the test data, everything is normal. Maybe the leading puppet is special, and the puppets summoned later seem to be its subordinates. The puppets summoned by its examiner took a closer look at Yi Bi. Sure enough, they were all printed from the same mold, and they were obviously much smaller than the first puppet before. The attire on the body is also much monotonous. His first puppet is not a creature puppet of the summoner class, is it? These are the summons of that puppet. That makes sense, but where is his limit? It was only a matter of discussion among several people. Yi Bi ended the fight again, picked up the manga in his left hand and read it. Hey, I'm really sad for this year's candidates. I met such a pervert. You can't say that. Thinking about Qin Shen's class back then, there were many outstanding professionals. While speaking, this man looked at Qin Yunfeng with admiration. Yes, it depends on the ability of this year's candidates to withstand pressure. This is the second wave, don't worry, don't forget what's wrong with the third wave. Haha, invisible assassins. The weakness of puppet masters is themselves. Assassins specialize in magic. But it was seconds, right? No, the third wave of assassins is just a warning, the attack power is pitifully low. But the debuff is very annoying. I suffered from this wave of losses back then. As a result, he gave up without even seeing the fourth wave. Quote. Yes, I did the same back then. I ran around the depressions and hills several times, and finally had to give up. The examiners looked at the situation in other examination rooms and commented on the candidates of this year. In fact, everyone is looking forward to the arrival of the third wave, to see Yi Bi's embarrassing expression. This is not aimed at Yi Bi, it's just that his way of reading comics has shocked everyone too much. All of you here have gone through the big exam, and those who can sit here are all the best of the year. Experience the third round, recall the bitterness of those years, and look at Yi Bi in the examination room today. Somewhat unbalanced, I hope the King of Versailles can be deflated for a while. In this round of exams, ice magic and trap hunters have an advantage. It's limited to the first 5 waves. Don't forget that the boss of the 6th wave has a control-free halo. Yes, the kite flow has basically stopped at the 6th wave. This sword dancer named Gong Chengji is very good, and he uses his skills very cleverly. The unselectable setting released by the sword dance group attack skill perfectly avoids the boss's skill attack. Quote. There seems to be a sword dancer in the Lord's team. Qin Yunfeng nodded slightly. This kid should be able to enter the 6th or 7th wave. But if there is no special weapon, Duan Yi will stop at the 7th wave. Quote. The 7th wave is already very strong. It is a watershed. In previous years, more than 90% of the candidates were stuck. It's started, the 3rd wave has begun. Already looking forward to Yi Bi's surprised expression when he was stabbed by the little assassin. In the examination room, the portal fluctuated again. Yi Bi was the first to feel 2 vague figures sneaking out, and then the 3 figures were the tall body of the boss. Have invisible monsters started appearing. With the abyss cloak with +1 anti-invisibility range, Yi Bi's position is close to the portal again. That's why the invisible monster was discovered for the first time. According to the setting that invisible monsters belong to the category of assassins, the blood volume is definitely not high. Yi Bi decisively burns the soul and shoots out. Bang bang, 2 clouds of blood mist appeared, and the invisible monster received the box lunch just like that. It's the first round of blood mist explosion again. He can actually see the invisible assassin. Anti-invisibility, there must be anti-invisibility equipment. Then does he have any shortcomings? He is strong in singles, strong in group battles, and can resist invisibility. For a while, the examiners didn't know what weakness Yi Bi had. This time the boss lasted for 2 more seconds. The strength has come up. I don't know when, in the eyes of the examiners, the boss can last for 2 seconds has become a point of excitement. Is it the loss of morality or the distortion of human nature? Gong Shulei's pyro explosive bomb can't kill mobs in seconds, haha, he was stabbed by an assassin. This expression is perfect. The gap is a bit big. It's just a weakened version of the assassin. It scares him. Don't talk about him, why didn't you have any idea at the beginning? It's like you were better than me back then. That's enough. Keep an eye on the exam room, especially the legal professions, don't be killed by assassins. As soon as Qin Yunfeng's words came out, the invigilator room fell silent. It seemed that he also felt that his tone was a bit harsh. Qin Yunfeng took the lead in commenting. Leng Ruohan is good, I know how to use the least consuming frost technique to control monsters. This is the rhythm of waiting for the next wave of monsters to kill together. Quote. Now that the boss has spoken, others have joined the discussion. And Xueqing's style of play is just the opposite. She uses the continuous damage of the wall of fire to drive the monster around in a circle, and the invisible monster is directly forced out of shape. The 9 candidates who chose hell-level difficulty must be the focus of attention. And some distinctive candidates have also become the object of discussion among the examiners. Is this Meng Fei relying on the damage reduction bonus of the Abyss set to take damage? No, he seems to be using the anti-injury characteristics of the shield combat profession to grind blood. Shield combat is the first choice for MTs in the early, middle and late stages. If the natural injury-free mechanism is awakened to a defense-type talent, it will be a good team. Quote. This year's candidates are good, and I'm looking forward to the final round of exams. It is said that the seminary's lineup is not weak this year. Is this a strong confrontation? Qin Yunfeng didn't say much. After all, this wave of examiners completed the task after adding the 3rd round. The final round was to take place on the big field outside the seminary. These 17 level 1s are no longer good, they are simply stiff, sir. Qin Yunfeng looked at the candidates who had been knocked down to the ground. Although they could barely hold on by rolling and crawling, there was a high probability that they would be killed if they went on like this. Pause the progress and ask the candidates whether to continue. After the candidate who finally passes the test agrees, the test is interrupted. It's already very good. I have no regrets if I can stick to this level at level 17. Well, the fighting spirit is worthy of praise. Although they sighed for a while, everyone finally focused their attention on Yi Bi's split screen. There is no way, although this kid's fighting is irritating, but it is indeed fierce enough. 4th wave, the boss should have silence skills, right? Yes, add a skill or aura to each wave, and the attribute will increase by 10%. Haha, I'm excited again. I bet Yi Bi will end the fight in 10 seconds. I bet 8 seconds. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.